Well, good morning, bonjour, buongiorno, bienvenue, welcome to Le Mans and the 2024 Rotax Max Challenge International Trophy. It's finals day. At the end of today, 6 drivers will have earned their ticket to the biggest party in world karting, the Rotax Grand Finals at Sarno in Italy. My name's Henry Baudet. Joining me, Eric Salis. Eric Salis, very quickly, what are we in store for today? Say hello to our audience in French.
Voilà, bonjour à toutes et à tous. Bienvenue au Mans pour cette édition 2024 du Rotax Max Challenge International Trophy. On est au Mans, c'est la grande journée aujourd'hui. On a eu les qualifications, on a eu les manches de qualification hier et aujourd'hui ce sont les super hits et les finales. Et à la clé de ces finales, 6 pilotes seront qualifiés pour la grande finale qui aura lieu en Italie au mois d'octobre. Donc la pression va monter tout au long de la journée.
318 drivers from over 40 nations are here. Each one will compete in a super heat, which awards points and a half. So 1.5 times the points that they earned yesterday. Once those races are complete, Apex Timing, our timing and scoring partners, will combine all the points the drivers earned in the heats which took place over the last 2 days and this morning's. That will decide the starting lineup for the finals this afternoon. We have 6 categories of kart: micro, mini, junior, senior, DD2 and DD2 masters. In 4 of those categories there are 36 drivers entered, so all drivers will make the final. In junior there are 72 entries, only the top 36 will go through to the final. In senior there are 108 drivers, 3 superheats, only the top 36 go through. You are looking at some of our Minimax drivers. They are the first race out, drivers sitting and waiting on the grid, but it's not just myself and Eric Salis who will be bringing the action. Jen Wade is down in the pit lane, and very shortly we will go down to get a brief chat with Jen. She will set the scene for the day. And Jen Wade, tell us a little bit about what the atmosphere is like down on the grid.
Of course, Albert Friend on pole position, but yeah, a little bit more intense, I would say. All the drivers are sitting in their karts, quite relaxed, but I can see the eyes moving around, focused, looking at each other, looking to the mechanic, for reassurance that we're right to go, we're ready to go. I'm going to move off the grid, but yeah, it's really nice, and of course, it's finals day. And we love it. Finals day here in Le Mans. So, International Trophy, I can see also Emerson McAndrew, you're in there on the 3rd row. Of course, he had some bad luck, but, the fact is that there are 3 teammates, 1, 2 and 3 here from Strawberry Racing. Also, MS Kart, Danny Babicek joining them on the 2nd row, so it's going to be close. I can actually feel like I'm getting nervous. So, yeah. We're going to sit back and I'm sure we're going to really enjoy some great racing. What these Minimax drivers are doing is unbelievable. So, but back to you, Henry. And I'm going to sit back and watch some great racing and we'll talk to some of the drivers in any case.
Thank you, Jen. And Eric, just looking at the drivers, there is Oliver Spencer on our screen, moving up. Spoke to Albie Friend, and we're set for an excellent day. These first couple of races will be 11 laps for the minis, 10 for the micros, 14 laps for all other classes.
Voilà, les pilotes qui attendent en pré-grille le signal de la direction de course pour prendre la direction de la piste et faire ce tour de chauffe-formation. On rappelle que ce sera une course disputée sur 11 tours pour cette catégorie mini. Les autres catégories auront 14 tours à parcourir dans leur super hit. Et puis cet après-midi, évidemment, place au final, mais on n'en est pas encore là, parce qu'on vous rappelle que pour les finales, eh bien, seuls les 36 meilleurs seront qualifiés. Donc il y est très important ce matin de parfaitement réussir ces super hits, de marquer les points importants. Alors sur le devant de la hiérarchie, on est évidemment sûr de pouvoir participer à cette finale. En revanche, sur les places restant à disputer aux alentours des 30e positions, eh bien là il va falloir faire attention pour marquer les points nécessaires et surtout ne pas laisser revenir ses adversaires. Voilà, c'est parti pour le tour de chauffe et le tour de formation.
Here is your full starting line. At pole position, Albert Friend, and alongside Albert on the front row, his Strawberry Racing teammate Jensen Chalk. It's a Strawberry 1-2-3 with Tom Reed on the inside of row number 2, alongside the Czech Republic's Zdenek Babicek. Martin Soltis from Slovakia and Britain's Emerson McAndrew Uren are on row number 3. Oliver Spencer and Andorra's Anton Bouchard go from row number 4. Mikael Zions from Poland and Harry Taylor are on the next row, with Vince van der Halen and Riley Murrow up next. Filip Kianowski and Jeff Verbeek are followed by Patrikas Josius and Ari Kallenberg. On the next row, we have Archie Rogers-Tyler and Vic van Kampenhout, with Luan Seidel and Alex Goodson up next. Boris Malagranda and his fellow Polish driver Aleksander Raczkowski are on the following row, followed by Kimi May and Mia Zanki. Then it's Dominic Takash, Emilian Boole, Ray Haber and Nikola Djurdjevic. The Emirati Express, Faris Haroun, is followed by Luka Stordur, then Kulyan Goshev, Roslan Sria Isa from Algeria, Armando Latour, Stylianos Georgiou from Cyprus. The final row of the grid is Juan Camilo Reyes Garçon and the very brave young Austrian lady, Helena Oswald, who rolled her cart yesterday, but she is back out today. The drivers are coming into the tram lines. Eric Sellis, let's get today started.
Allez, le premier départ de la journée va-t-il être réussi? Non, 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 non. On a invalidé cette procédure. On va donc repartir pour un tour de mise en formation. Et on rappelle que c'est Albert Friend qui s'élancera de la pole position. Albert Friend qui, durant les manches de qualification, eh bien, s'est imposé à 2 reprises. L'autre vainqueur de ces manches de qualification, eh bien, c'est Jason Schalk qui, justement, s'élancera aux côtés d'Albert Friend. Donc, les 2 pilotes qui se sont partagés les 3 manches de qualification. Voilà donc qui donne un petit peu la mesure de cette première ligne. Et puis on a évidemment 36 pilotes au départ, donc les 36 eux iront directement en finale. Bien évidemment, quand je parlais tout à l'heure des dernières places à prendre, c'est pour les catégories notamment junior, notamment senior, où il n'y a que 36 places. Par exemple en senior, vous avez plus de 108 pilotes au départ, donc il va y avoir forcément des déçus au terme de cette matinée. Allez, on a reformé le peloton et on espère que cette fois ça va partir. C'est le premier start de la journée, donc forcément il y a un peu plus de pression.
Yes, it's been a fantastic weekend so far for the Minimax division for the Strawberry Racing team. Albert Friend qualified on pole position. Albie has actually won all 3 heat races on the road. His second heat, he had a penalty applied afterwards for jumping a restart, but that handed the win to his teammate Jensen Chalk. So the green and white, Mark Baines, Nathan Rawlings and Paul Spencer and the team down at Strawberry have done a fantastic job. They are undefeated at the moment, but they have got a whole bunch of drivers that are hungry for a little bit of strawberries and cream. Here we go!
Et c'est parti avec Albert Friend qui a tout de suite surveillé son adversaire direct Jason Schalk, et pour l'instant ça passe pour le poleman avec les 2 pilotes du Strawberry Racing qui sont aux avant-postes. En revanche, derrière, Tom Reed a semble-t-il perdu une position. Il est 4e me semble-t-il.
Yes, it is Friend coming through turn number 5. Babicek is up into 3rd position. You're looking at the curb des Duchamps, the Two Trees corner, now into turn number 5. And they go out of turn number 5 through the Maison Blanche S's. There they are, lots of curb. Then on to the banking. Round this long bank corner, side by side for second. Through turns 9 and 10. And at the back of the picture there, you can see a couple of carts into the barriers. This is the Cheminot Bouffe Straight, or the Mini Mulsanne. And there's a move. That looks like Oliver Spencer up the inside of Babicek into the Virage de Technopark. This is Virage de Paddock. And oh, one of the KR Sport carts. That's Archie Rogers Tyler. And he cannons into the 1-2-2 cart. Riley Murrow with a bent back axle. That is game over for Riley Murrow. But up at the front, Friend with a huge advantage at the end of lap number 1 with Reed, Spencer, Babicek, Chalk, Taylor, Bouchard, Zions, Van der Halen. I'm looking down to see where is Emerson McAndrew-Uren. He's down in 32nd place. Disaster for the Dan Holland Racing driver.
Allez, un premier tour très rapidement mené et bouclé par Albert Friend qui a pris d'ores et déjà quasiment une seconde d'avance. Et derrière, eh bien, c'est la grosse bagarre parce que Jason Schalk, qui s'est lancé depuis la première ligne, a perdu 6 positions. Il a perdu 4 positions, pardon. Il est 5e et derrière, eh bien, ça s'accroche de façon assez intempestive et c'est tant mieux pour le spectacle avec ce nouveau passage de Albert Friend avec Oliver Spencer désormais et Zdeněk Babicek en 3e position. Tom Reed est désormais 4e.
Babicek now trying to push the second place cart of Oliver Spencer. Now, we will have maybe a look back at that incident after the race, but I think Emerson McAndrew-Uren was one of the carts that came to grief out on the banking. At turn number 1. He is still in the race. He's now climbed back up 7 places already on lap number 2 up into P25. He was 32nd at the end of lap number 1. Let's not forget, it's not the direct finishing order of this race that sets the grid for the final. It's the combined points. Friend has 132 points coming into this race, then 111 for Chalk, 107 for Reed. You get 75 points for winning a superheat, 69 for second, 63 for third. Friend checks over his shoulder. He completes lap number 3 and his lead over Spencer is 1.1 seconds. Babicek trying to push Spencer along. Tom the Farmer Reed is next. Then a gap back to Taylor and Chalk. Trying to work together. Soltis is 7th. Bouchard, Van der Halen, Zions, Van Kampenhout, Goodson, Josius, Kianowski, and a new fastest lap, Emerson McAndrew-Uren. Well, that's a 57.9. Nobody else no one else has gone lower than 58.5 on that last lap. McAndrew-Uren is 6/10 quicker than everybody else. Obviously, feeling the anger inside him at having that incident earlier on is driving him forward.
Allez, nouveau passage sur la ligne de chronométrage pour Albert Friend qui a creusé visiblement un écart quasiment définitif. Attention quand même, hier il y avait 9 tours à parcourir, ce matin il y en a 11, donc ça va peut-être changer un petit peu la donne et on a vu hier que les avances des premiers tours des fois se réduisaient à peau de chagrin en fin d'épreuve. Et derrière Albert Friend, eh bien on a Oliver Spencer, Zdeněk Babicek et Tom Reed qui sont tous les trois roue dans roue et qui ont creusé l'écart sur le reste du peloton. Et puis on va surveiller également la remontée d'Emerson McAndrew-Uren qui était en 6e position, qui a été une victime collatérale de l'accrochage dans le banking, qui est redescendu en 32e position. Il est remonté en 23e position à l'heure actuelle et il a signé le meilleur tour en course en 57,980.
Here is the battle for 6th and 7th going through the Virage to Technopark. There's a move there. The G-Kart 53 entry, that I believe was the Andorran driver. And that's Anton Bouchard for the G-Kart 53 team in that very bright, distinctive yellow Andorran race suit. And he now moves into 7th position. ahead of Martin Soltis, behind Jensen Chalk. Harry Taylor now comes up with the fastest first sector, but Patrikas Josius, the Lithuanian driver, in 12th place, has set the fastest lap of the race. Friend has extended his advantage to 1.3 seconds over this group of karts. Spencer for KR Sports second, Babicek for the Teps Racing Team third, and then Reed for Strawberry Racing in fourth.
Allez, on suit actuellement la bataille pour la deuxième place parce que devant, eh bien, Albert Friend semble au-dessus du lot ce matin. Il a pris une avance considérable, plus d'une seconde 3 d'avance, alors que pendant ce temps-là, eh bien, Tom Reed est passé devant Babicek. Babicek qui est désormais en 4e position. Tom Reed qui a vu que Oliver Spencer commençait à s'éloigner et qui doit réagir, Tom Reed, s'il veut eh bien, conserver la possibilité d'attaquer son compatriote. Tom Reed est désormais donc 3e, Babicek est 4e, Henry Taylor est 5e et Emerson McAndrew Uren continue sa remontée en 17e position. McAndrew Uren, c'est le numéro 102.
Le Millier Tour for McAndrew Uren again. He has now climbed to 17th position. So, in the space of 4 laps, he's gone from 32nd to 17th. And as we look at the intermediate classification, Friend is currently going to be starting on pole for the final. Reed will start alongside. So, Tom Reed making that pass on Denik Babicek. And there comes Harry Taylor looking to the inside of the Czech driver. Taylor up into P4 going through the restaurant curve. Now we go down to Maison Blanche straight into turn number 3. Now we go into Curve des Touchons, Two Trees Corner, double right-hander. Then they flick left through turn number 5. And McAndrew Uren again. He is obliterating the fastest lap. 57.2. He's half a second quicker than the race leader. And the race leader is in clear air. So McAndrew Uren, well, he might have a tow from other drivers, but he's also having to overtake other drivers. Friend up front and cruising. 4 drivers, 5 drivers now fighting over second. Spencer, Reed, Babicek, Taylor and Jensen Chalk. Bouchard is 7th, followed by Van der Halen, Soltis and Van Kampenhout. Now, in addition to Riley Murrow, who went out with a bent back axle on the opening lap, we also lost Ari Kallenberg and Kimmy May. Michael Zions is right at the back of the field. Helena Oswald runs 32nd. Algerian driver Roslan Siri Isa is 31st. Peru's Armando Latour is 30th. And Bulgaria's Kalyon Gyoshev is 29th. Further back, Archie Rogers Tyler is recovered to 27th after his spin. Emilian Boole is recovering to 25th after going off on the opening lap as well. And what about Juan Camilo Reyes Garcon, up 12 positions from 35th to 23rd. Here's the move. Babicek to the inside at Virage du Technopark, and he both runs wide. He runs him and Taylor wide. Chalk up into 4th position.
Allez, c'est toujours la bagarre derrière Albert Friend qui est au-dessus du lot ce matin, on le disait. Oliver Spencer s'est légèrement détaché et derrière, entre Tom Reed, Jason Schalk et Zdenek Babicek et Harry Taylor, c'est la grosse bagarre. On échange les positions, on le voit encore ici avec Babicek qui est avant-dernier de ce groupe de 4. On se rend coup pour coup alors que Emerson McAndrew Uren est remonté en 7e position, le numéro 102, et qu'il va encore peut-être grappiller quelques places d'ici au baisser du drapeau à Damien. On vous rappelle qu'on est parti sur une course pour 11 tours de course, 11 tours au lieu des 9 hier. Donc ça laisse dans son malheur un petit peu plus de chance à McAndrew Uren de remonter vers le haut de la hiérarchie.
The last lap board goes out as the leaders cross the start-finish line. Friend comfortably in front, Spencer comfortably in second, Reed comfortably in third. The best battle is for 4th, 5th and 6th. Chalk has it. Taylor and Babicek want it. At the moment, Chalk is due to start 3rd for the final, ahead of Spencer. Babicek would start 5th and Taylor would start 7th. Anton Bouchard who's running 7th in the road. He would start this race, the next race from 6th position. Michael Soltis from Slovakia, who is 10th on the road at the moment, he would be due to start this race 8th. However, Albie Friend has been undeniable so far. He goes through Viraj Technopark on track. He is undefeated. And if it's one thing we know about Albie Friend, is that Albie Friend stands on business. He takes the win again.
Et troisième succès pour Albert Friends qui s'est imposé ce matin avec maîtrise, 1 seconde 8 d'avance sur Oliver Spencer. Oliver Spencer qui lui avait un peu plus d'une demi-seconde sur Tom Reed. Et derrière on retrouve Schalk, Taylor, Babicek, Bouchard, Soltis, Van Kempenhout, Van der Allen, Jokus, Goodson, Maligranda pour la 13e position, Harbour pour la 14e et Kijanowski pour la 15e, et McAndrew Uren termine finalement en 16e position avec à l'actif son meilleur tour en course en 57-229, ce qui fait que sur la première ligne tout à l'heure, on retrouvera Albert Friend avec à ses côtés Tom Reed.
Now, as the drivers go on their slowing down lap, you're looking at the results on your screens. I am watching young Emerson McAndrew Uren, who obviously crossed the line and slowed right down and was looking pretty upset. He sped back up, and I just worry that whatever emotional state you're in, Em, let's not get ourselves into trouble. What happened in there? Let's have a look at the replay. Now, let's try and pick out what happened to McAndrew Uren, because he's there in the number 102 kart. On the outside, he loses a couple of positions. Archie Rogers-Tyler getting involved. Oh, no, that's Emilian Boole getting involved. And that is Alex Goodson just getting bounced a little bit wide there at turn number 1. And we look at, by the time they get to the banking, Emerson McAndrew Uren is way back out of the way, so out of our sight. Maybe turn 3 or turn 4 something happened, out of our view unfortunately, but at the opening lap Albert Friend was left with a huge advantage, and really, and this is impressive, in a class where slipstreaming is so important, Oliver Spencer having to get aggressive early, he made a move on Tom Reed. Reed then Spencer having a good scrap. Spencer returning the favour, I think it's safe to say. What's good for one is good for the other. So they continued on to finish 2nd and 3rd. Babicek was running in 3rd position early on. Something I have noticed about Zenek on that MS kart chassis is that as the races get longer and longer, he does seem to start sort of fading a little bit. It's going to be a bit of a concern for the TEPS racing team ahead of the longest race of the day tomorrow. But Albie Friend, in a class of his own, we can't say that because people will start cutting his exhaust off. No, I'm joking. But he was able to just keep the rest at arm's length. McAndrew Uren was then on a mission. You can see Harry Taylor picking up a couple of places. But Friend coming across the line, and he will be eventually. He was too fast even for our replay camera, was Albie Friend. Want to say a quick word. Helena Oswald, after rolling her kart, but Helena Oswald making the finish at the end. But down to Jen Wade once again, race number 2. This will be Micromax coming up next. Jen, who have you got for us down on the grid?
A lot of the guys and girls, of course, I need to highlight here on the grid for Micro, the youngest class. And I'm actually standing on row 3. Yesterday I spoke with some of the boys at the front. I also noted we had Ava Lawrence, an Aussie girl who lives in the Emirates. But right next to me, Atika, Mia, yesterday, our first female, and I'm pushing the girls a little bit this weekend, first female winner here at the International Trophy. How are you?
I'm doing really good, and I feel really happy about the win yesterday.
I think you can be happy. What about Ava? She's right there. You girls are really showing up some of these boys, aren't you, this weekend?
Yes.
And not that it matters, you're a race driver. I was chatting away to your mum earlier, and she told me since you've been really young, you've just loved motorsport. Why is that?
I don't know. Like my father was like a champion in Formula Asia, so I maybe like have his DNA. Like I have his things like in the body. Like I want to do it.
In the DNA. That's fantastic. So all those little girls out there whose dads have been Formula Asia champions or karting or racing champions, you think it's in their DNA?
Yes.
I think it is too. So, and there's little Ava over there. I know her dad also races in KZ2. So, yeah, here they are. And congratulations. Your mum and dad are pretty excited. All your friends at home. Anyone you'd like to say hi to before we leave you?
I would like to say hi to my friends in UAE and Kashmir and also all around the world. So,
You got friends all around the world? Better give them a big wave.
mostly India.
Mostly India. Okay. Congratulations and enjoy the race. It's an important day, isn't it, with the superheat and the final coming up later this afternoon.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it.
She's looking forward to it. Okay, Atika, thank you so much. There's little Ava. And let's have a look. Who's on the grid? We've got 3 minutes, Henry. And then we're off the grid. So just walk down a little bit further. See who we've got here. Actually, 44 nations signed up for the race this weekend. So you can imagine, and not everybody's speaking a lot of English, so I don't want to stress anyone out here, but lots of boys and girls here. And what a grid. 36 Micromax.
One Austrian.
Okay, one Austrian, yes. I've got one of the mechanics here telling me one Austrian. Whereabouts from?
We are from Austria, from near Vienna.
Okay.
And yeah, it's the first time we are here, and we are very excited. Yeah, we try to give our best, but it's not easy. There are so many drivers. In Austria, do not have so many drivers.
No, that's right. Not so many, but of course the home of Rotax in Austria. I'm actually also based in Austria. It's beautiful, and I have to say, yeah, go the Austrians. They're all watching. Even though there's not a lot, they're watching. So we're going to wish you luck. I can see you're a little bit nervous.
Yes, I'm very nervous. Not a little bit.
You're making me nervous now. Okay, we better get off the grid. But yeah, hi to everyone home in Austria. Viel Gruß from Frankreich. Tschüss. Back to you, Henry.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Jen, and great to hear from both drivers and mechanics. Now, obviously Jen spoke to Attica Mia. However, Attica is one of 3 young ladies starting on the top 7 rows of the grid. And just alongside Attica on the 3rd row is the Aussie, the young lady from, she's based in Dubai now, but from Australia originally, Ava Lawrence. And Ava is, she's going to give it full jandal out on the track. There is a look at, on the left-hand side of your screen, the number 33 car. That's Alfie Mayer for the Zip Factory team, based in the UK. And on the right-hand side, that number 19 car, that is Pedro Faria. Pedro Faria from Brazil. And I got to say, my favourite livery kart, the Foo Drivers livery, is absolutely outstanding. A little bit further, there's another very smart-looking machine just behind Alfie Mayer on the grid. That's Max Moore in kart number 88. That's the RF racing kart. And there. Now, Lady Di on the camera. That's what we like to see. Brilliant. Stand your ground, Lady Di. Lady Di is our camera lady, not the former Princess of Wales who then died. No. Lady Di is our... oh dear. That's not part of the plan. And that is Baptiste Augustine. Baptiste, who came within 1 corner of winning the Dubai O-Plate. Well, We'll do this. I tell you what, let's do the full starting lineup. It's Joshua Cook and Austin Oman on row number 1. Charlie Page and Dominic Rosa on row number 2. Atta Kamia and Ava Lawrence on row number 3. Mark Quesada and Baptiste Augustine on row number 4. Harris Barber and Albie J. Stubbs, row 5. Matthias Drexler and Felix Chang on row 6. Maria Roberto and Jan Wozniak, row 7. Pedro Faria and Alfie Mayer, row 8. Jensen Walker and Max Moore, row 9. Maximilian Rachkovsky and Benedictus Masiokas on row 10. Simon Villegas and Jensen Hammond, Happy Hammond on the next row, with Achilles Peruzzi and Alex Baroni up next. Just Theo. Theodore Constantino is joined on the next row by Germany's Maximilian Kiel, followed by Andreas Kellerup, then Jules Schetch, Theo Escarel, Theo Steindl, Paul Twenard, Paul Schutzmann, Kenzo Greenhut, Tristan Abils, and Marjan Jokic, the driver of Montenegro, I don't think has gone out, and Georges Pialat at the back of the field. But I hope that Jokic, not Novak, but he's a tennis player. Marlon, he's a go-karter. I hope that he is going to get out there eventually as we come to the line for the first of 10 laps in Micromax.
Et c'est parti avec un départ validé, mais par contre pour Baptiste Augustin, le numéro 34.
Oh, Eric, sorry,
whoa.
Ava Lawrence getting sideways in the middle of the pack, and somehow they all avoid her, and Ava keeps it pinned and just carries on as if nothing had happened. That, sorry Eric, could have been the mother and father of all accidents, but Ava, I said give it the Jandal girl, and she certainly did. Sideways or not, Ava Lawrence, she's hungry for a win.
Ouais, c'est parti de façon très spectaculaire pour Eva Lawrence qui est partie en tête à queue au milieu du peloton. Tout le monde a réussi à la contourner, à l'éviter, et elle est repartie comme si de rien n'était. J'étais en train de vous dire que pour Baptiste Augustin, c'était peut-être un petit peu limite, lui qui partait de la 4e ligne, pas sûr avec sa figure dans le tour de sortie qu'il ait pu reprendre son emplacement de départ. Et Baptiste Augustin est a priori aux alentours de la 10e ou 11e position. On va attendre le passage du premier tour avec Joshua Cook, Alfie Mayer en 2e position, Austin Oman, Charlie Page, Rosa, Stubb, Quesada, Wozniak, Cheng, Barber, Drexler, et voilà. Et c'est ce que je vous disais, Baptiste Augustin qui est très très loin, il est en 30e position.
It is still Cook who leads a great start. Alfie Mayer from 15th to the SEC P2. Well, I mean, the zip cut, Alfie Mayer, if you look very closely, you'll find that Mayer is wearing no socks. His socks are off, and he's in the lead as the number 9 cart of Tristan Abils goes for a spin. Mayer takes the advantage after just 2 laps. That is incredible driving from Alfie Mayer. He now leads Cook, Austin Oman, Page, and Rosa. So Dominic Rosa, the Hungarian driver, he's the only non-Briton in the top 7. Well, Albie J. Stubbs has just been passed by Mark Andrea Quesada. Albie J. up from 10th of the grid to 7th. Wozniak is 8th. Barber, Chang, Drexler, and Benedictus Masiokas. Well, I mean, the Zip team are now Mayer dropping back a little bit, so it's a good start. Now Alfie Mayer's got to get into his rhythm. I mean, well, the Zip team certainly had their Weetabix this morning, and they are brapping all their way to the front.
Allez, on a vu rapidement Alfie Mayer prendre les commandes de la piste et être contré ensuite dans la ligne droite des stands au jeu de l'aspiration par Joshua Cook, notamment le numéro 5 qui a repris les commandes de l'épreuve. Et on a 2 cartes maintenant qui se sont légèrement détachées. A priori Joshua Cook et Austin Oman, alors que du côté d'Alfie Mayer, eh bien on a perdu un petit peu de terrain. Nouveau passage sur la ligne de chronométrage dans quelques instants. Voilà, avec Joshua Cook et Austin Oman. Alfie Mayer est en 3e position. Rappelons quand même qu'il a gagné 13 places par rapport à sa position de départ sur la grille tout à l'heure. Donc c'est dire les 2 premiers tours qu'a réalisé Alfie Mayer. C'est tout simplement incroyable. Et attention parce que derrière Alfie Mayer, Charlie Page et Dominic Rosas sont très très menaçants.
So Cook continues to lead Austin Oman just by a whisker. Then there's a slight gap developing now back to Mir, Page and Rosa, and a bigger gap. Now, there are the two Fu drivers' teammates, Pedro Faria and Alex Baroni. Baroni in the number 95 kart. They are running down in 13th and 14th positions. Here are your leaders going down the Chemin au Boeuf Straight, or the Mini Mulsanne, as we call it, or as I call it. The rest of the field all running wide there in that number 8 kart. That's Matthias Drexler in the green and black KRT Racing entry. Matthias is down in 10th position. Now you can see that Mir and Rosa are closing in. I think Page has been dispatched back to 5th, and you can see on this 1368 metre Le Mans International Kart Circuit, these Micromax karts, the youngest drivers here, the smallest engines in terms of power output, they are restricted more than any other Rotax power unit, and slipstreaming is all important.
Et Rosa vient de prendre le meilleur sur Alfimer dans le banking. Il a plongé à l'intérieur, Rosa, et il a pris la 3e position au moment où justement Alfimer et lui-même revenaient sur le duo de tête Joshua Cook et Austin Oman. Joshua Cook et Austin Oman qui se sont partagés les avant-postes durant toute la journée d'hier et d'avant-hier avec les qualifications et une victoire de manche chacun. C'est reparti donc Alfimer et Charlie Page qui est revenu en 4e position. Rosa a semble-t-il connu quelques soucis.
Yes, Alfie Mir sort of ran a little bit wide coming out the virage to Technopark, and Dominic Rosa tried to go around the outside. Mir came back at him, and then Alfie Mir took the line going through the virage du paddock, and Rosa was forced across the grass, and he emerges back behind Charlie Page in 5th position. It does mean now that Alfie Mir has got a free run at the two leaders, Cook and Oman. There are your two leaders going through the banking on lap number 6 out of 10. Now the good news is for Alfie Mir is that he has got no one behind him trying to attack. The bad news for Alfie Mir is that he's got no one behind him trying to push him up to the front. So if he is going to catch the two leaders, he's got to do it on his own. There is Page and Rosa squabbling over 4th position, and the next freight train is on its way. LBJ Stubbs into P6 is bringing Quesada and Benedictus Masiokas with him. And then it's Drexler and Harris Barber up into 10th position. Wozniak, Faria, Baroni, Atakamia, Chang, and I want a quick look. Ava Lawrence is 17th after taking the first corner in reverse.
Et Quesada qui est passé, le premier pilote français classé dans cette course, c'est lui. Il est actuellement en 7e position et il mène la chasse derrière Rosa et Stubbs qui continuent de se frictionner et qui perdent du temps. Je pense que Rosa a repris la 4e position à Page au virage du banking. Là, on retrouve les deux leaders qui, pour l'instant, font une course de concert. Ça semble être plutôt pas mal engagé pour ces deux-là, et on va suivre derrière la bagarre avec Quesada notamment. Allez, nouveau passage sur la ligne, Joshua Cook, Austin Oman, Alfie Mir, Charlie Page, Dominic Rosa et Quesada, voilà confirmation, qui est 6e sur la ligne de chronométrage. Mais attention à l'attaque dans ce premier virage, ça bouge à tous les tours, et devant on a de nouveau Page qui a repris le meilleur sur Rosa qui lui avait fait les freins au premier virage.
Yeah, the battle between Page and Rosa is quite significant because at the moment, Charlie Page, who runs 4th on the road, he would start just in front of Dominic Rosa on the final grid. Page 173 points, Rosa 157, and that's not bad for Charlie Page. He wants to keep Rosa behind him because starting on the inside of row number 2 is certainly preferable to starting on the outside of row number 2. Quesada, 6th on the road, would start 5th in the finals if things stay as they are. Atakamia, 11th on the road, would start 6th. Alfie Mir would start 7th, and Ava Lawrence would start 8th, and Ava is now, well, she's back to 16th position, back up to 16th position. Just a quick look down the order. We obviously, sadly, Marjan Djokic failed to start, but despite the spin for Tristan Abeels, everybody is still running in the race that started. Sadly, Maria Roberto and Jensen Walker have both had a problem and have faded to the back of the field.
Grosse bagarre dans le groupe de poursuivants qui était emmené il y a quelques instants par Marc-Andrea Quesada. Eh bien, il a été repris par Masioka et Drexler, et depuis on s'échange les positions. Vous les voyez, ces 5 cartes là qui sont en train d'entrer dans la ligne droite du chemin au bœuf. Attention à l'attaque au freinage, non, ça passe semble-t-il pour tout le monde, même si Quesada cherchait l'ouverture à l'intérieur. Pour l'instant ça n'est pas passé. Nouveau tour bouclé pour les leaders. Joshua Cook devant Sinoman, Alfimer est 3e, Dominique Rosa est 4e, Charlie Page 5e, et Benedictas Masiokas a repris la 6e position.
Now, out of our viewpoint, we're on the final lap. Happy Hammond has spun his kart out on the bank. He's trying desperately to get his kart back on the track, but it is beached on the grass, and he is out of the race. But here we go, final lap, and there's a problem down at turn number 5. There's a problem down at turn number 5. There's the kart of Jensen Hammond being pushed away, but it's Cook and Oman. Half a lap to go. Mayer 3rd, Rosa 4th. Here we come. Couldn't quite see who the 2 karts were that stopped. We'll try and get a number check next time by, but it's going to be Cook versus Oman to the line.
Allez, toujours la bagarre, le bras de fer entre Cook et Oman. Qui va l'emporter? A priori, Joshua Cook va aller chercher la victoire. Voilà qui est fait devant Austin Oman. En 3e position, on retrouve Alfimer devant Rosa. Charlie Page est en 5e position. Et c'est finalement Albi Stubbs qui va chercher la 6e position, juste devant le premier pilote français, Quesada 7e, Masiokas est 8e, Faria 9e, et Wozniak complète le top 10.
And sadly, on the last lap, Paul Schutzman, Simon Villegas, Harris Barber, and I believe the number 8 kart of Matthias Draxler have all come to grief in separate incidents. We're looking at drivers walking away from their karts, going through the Maison Blanche S's and coming out of turn number 5. So what has happened there, I don't know. So Cook wins and will start provisionally the final from pole position. Oman finishes 2nd and will join Cook on the front row of the grid. Then we have Alfie Mayer finishing 3rd. Dominic Rosa with the fastest lap of the race on the last lap. As you look at the finishing order on your screen there, well, let's pick out a couple of names. Firstly, from 16th to 3rd, Alfie Mayer. Oh, a great result. From 20th to 8th, Benedictus Masiokas. What are the 2 factors there? They're teammates for the Zip team. Alex Baroni from 24th to 11th. Great drive as well. Now, let's have a look at the replay. And let's see, Ava Lawrence gets hooked with Alfie Mayer. She's sideways, and luckily that looked as if it was the number 1 kart of Mark Quesada that pushed her back facing the right way. She dropped back to about 25th position and came back to finish 13th. Mayer up to 3rd, and within half a lap, Alfie Mayer had taken the race lead. Incredible. Then Mayer did that. There's the move for the race lead on Josh Cook, but more experienced Josh Cook and Austin Oman, they were able to fight back. Mayer there in the number 33 kart drops to 3rd position, just in front of Charlie Page. But Austin Oman, smart drive, sticking to the rear bumper of Josh Cook, didn't want to risk it. And this is that was Alfie Mayer's teammate. This is a Zip kart highlight reel. That was Mayer again, making a move on Dominic Rosa. But it's Cook and Oman who finish 1-2, and we will see them starting 1-2 a little bit later on. Now, this event could not be possible without the help of our sponsors. Let's hear from 1 or 2 of them now.
capturer cette sensation? Rien de plus simple avec la caméra casque Cambox. Design ultra discret, adapté à tous les casques. Avec sa vue immersive unique au monde, captez vos émotions de course en toute sécurité. Caméra casque Cambox, the safest immersive memories. capturer cette sensation? Rien de plus simple avec la caméra casque Cambox. Design ultra discret, adapté à tous les casques. Avec sa vue immersive unique au monde, captez vos émotions de course en toute sécurité. Caméra casque Cambox, the safest immersive memories.
Well, from one end of the experience scale to the other, DD2 Masters up next. Eric, a class that we are more close to our hearts up here in the commentary box.
Oui, on est de retour effectivement avec la catégorie DD2 Master. On a fait le grand écart, on avait les micros juste avant et là on a les DD2 Master. Donc on passe d'un extrême à l'autre avec une catégorie qui n'a pas fait tout à fait le plein. Seulement 30 pilotes au départ, 30 pilotes au lieu de 36 sur la capacité de la grille, ce qui permettra à tout le monde de se retrouver en finale, mais ça ne veut pas dire que le spectacle n'est pas là, bien au contraire, puisqu'on va retrouver Denis Stum et Viviane Cusack-Picot sur la première ligne avec Jack Dex derrière eux. Ce sont les trois pilotes qui ont remporté les courses de qualification, une course chacun, la première pour Jack Dex, la deuxième pour Viviane Cusack-Picot et la troisième pour Denis Stum. Donc voilà, tout le monde est là, tout le monde est prêt, vous le voyez sur cette pré-grille, ça va chauffer dans quelques instants.
Yeah, these are the real characters of the Rotax family. Two-speed karts. A lot of these drivers have been in karting for more years than they admit to. And great shot there of our DD2 Masters. Lady Di down on the grid. Now, if I was Lady Di, our camera lady, I would be about to move off the grid pretty sharpish because the signal's going to be given, although actually, Di, as long as you don't damage the camera, that is okay. On the left-hand side, on the right-hand side of your screen there, you can see the 737 kart. That's Jimmy Chaumier on the Gillard chassis. And right there on the right-hand side now, the 727, Robert Schlunson. And just in front of Robert Schlunson there is Jack Dex. And oh, look at that. Great stuff there. Dennis Toom managed to get a wave to the camera. That's the closest wave we're ever going to get. And look, you can tell about the characters. They're still, they know where there's a camera. And they're all happy to see as they go out. Here is your full starting lineup. Dennis Toom starts from pole position alongside Vivian Cusack-Picot. Jack Dex and Fabian Bock go from row 2. On row number 3, Andreas Brenkush and Nadia Kabaj. Robert Schlunson and Harold Watson go from row number 4. And then it's Charles Sagan and Christophe Capitan. Jimmy Chaumier and Jeremy Brasler are next up. Wim Rouleau and Yannick Nielsen on the next row. Martin Konopka and Roman Monge are next. Jamie Billings and Peter Goutai are followed by Bastien Capote and Carl Cledibo. Tony Hogg on the final season in his lengthy and distinguished career. He goes alongside Niels Böhler. Christoph Adams, the first ever Grand Finals champion in this class, all the way back in 2008, is next, followed by Bjorn Edstrom, Felipe Villegas, Ronald Billings, Anastasios Lukides, Rainier Bourne, and rounding out the field, our only driver from South Korea, Sao-Hun Moon, with Lucas Lippert from Germany completing the starting lineup. Dennis Toom racing for the Kraft Motorsport team in association with Rotax Cyprus. German by birth, Cypriot by his racing license, fast by destiny. He starts alongside Cusack-Picot, who won this event, let me have a look, 2 years ago.
Voilà, le peloton qui se prépare à se lancer pour le départ. Attention, est-ce que ça va être validé cette procédure? Ça semble être bon, oui, c'est bon. Et attention à Dennis Stum. On a vu hier qu'il s'était lancé de la pole position et personne n'avait été en mesure de le contrer durant la manche de qualification. Et derrière, eh bien, Vivien Cusack-Picot, on le rappelle, un vainqueur ici même il y a 2 ans, eh bien, va essayer d'aller contrer la domination de Dennis Stum qu'on avait vu hier après-midi. Pour l'instant, tout le monde est passé sans problème et ça, c'est un bon premier tour comme on les aime.
Good clean start from all 30 drivers. This is the only category that did not sell out this year. We were just 6 karts away from selling out this event completely. It is the largest DD2 Masters field we have ever had here. And I'm looking down there. Oh dear. 793. Dennis Toom, our race leader, is getting a mechanical flag. What? Now he's not appearing on the timing screens. I really hope that Dennis Toom has not forgotten to put his transponder on. Now, if the transponder is on the kart but not working, that is okay, because they can manually lap score Dennis Toom. If the transponder is missing, that is mechanical failure. And Dennis Moon would, due to start for pole position, that would give the lead to Jack Dex.
Voilà, il y a un problème a priori sur le kart de Dennis Toom qui a priori n'apparaît pas sur le chronométrage, mais le pilote est bien en piste. Il est là, il passe devant nous. Pour l'instant, il est en tête devant devant Jack Dex et Robert Schlussen en 3e position, alors que Vivien Cusack-Picot est lui pour l'instant pointé à la 6e position. Alors on va voir quelle décision va prendre la direction de course, puisqu'on a présenté le drapeau noir à rond orange à Dennis Toom pour ce problème de chronométrage. Son kart est bien là, il est aux avant-postes, il mène la course devant Jack Dex, mais pour l'heure, aucune... Oula, attention, il y a eu une touchette là au niveau du banking entre, me semble-t-il, Brenkush et Charles Seguin. En tout cas, pour l'instant, et c'est passé pour Jack Dex au freinage de la ligne droite du chemin au bœuf, et Dennis Toom qui est en train de rentrer dans la voie des stands. Voilà, Dennis Toom qui s'est arrêté. Alors on va voir si ce que va décider la direction de course. Il y a un problème. Oui, voilà, on se penche sur son kart. Et visiblement, son mécanicien qui essaye de regarder ce qui se passe, mais a priori, c'est un problème de transpondeur uniquement.
Toom retires.
Il repart.
Oh, he's coming back out. Is he coming back out with a transponder on? Oh, this could be controversial. He's looking around to see what happens. Now, he does have to be careful. I think Christoph Adams has also come into the pits and come back out. So a potential problem for Christoph Adams. He is back in the race.
Il a son transpondeur, puisque là maintenant, we can see the speed. We can see the speed now.
Now the transponder seems to be on because his speed is catching up, and now there's a transponder clocking up. I wonder if he forgot to put the transponder on. What does that do to Dennis Toom? I haven't got the rules and regulations. Anyway, we'll concentrate on the drivers that are leading. Jack Dex with a huge advantage now. What's he huge? 0.7 of a second over Robert Schlunsen. Then it's Charles Sagan. We're looking at Sagan just holding up Vivien Cusack-Picot and Fabian Bock. Behind them, Nadia Kabaj and Andreas Brenkush. The showman Harold Watson is 8th, followed by Capitan, the Danish sprinter, the Danish Usain Bolt. Yannick Nielsen is 10th, then Monge, Chaumier, Krapote, Konopka and Jamie Billings. But there is a blue flag waving for Dennis Toom to say he's a lap down, get out of the way, but it's not the black flag, so obviously he is now clocking up laps. Somebody at Craft Motorsport has... Well, I wouldn't want to speculate. I don't know whose responsibility it is to make sure the transponder's on the go-kart. But, wow. They were... Oh.
Strange. It's quite strange because it was clocking during the warm-up lap. And
no, it did not. No,
because we saw on the intermediate lap time.
When it went out, it had a little in next to it on the timing screen saying that he did not enter the circuit, which means that the transponder didn't clock up as it went over the timing beam, and he didn't clock up then for the first couple of laps. He came into the pits. Now it is clocking up.
He's coming into
in
the
again.
pits.
Oh, he's in again. I mean, there's no point just wasting tyres. These Mojo tyres have to last all day, they have to last all week. So Dennis Toom, oh my word, That is going to throw the cat amongst the pigeons. He will not be starting the final from pole position. How far back will Dennis Toom drop? That is the question. Meanwhile, back on track, here's the main battle. It's for third place. Vivian Cusack-Pico has it now, passing Charles Sagan.
Allez, on revient à la course avec toujours Jack Dex aux avant-postes légèrement détaché sur Robert Schlussen. Et derrière, eh bien, on avait une belle bagarre entre Charles Seguin et Vivien Cusack-Pico. Vivien Cusack-Pico qui vient de prendre l'avantage sur son compatriote et qui est désormais en 3e position et qui va devoir maintenant cravacher pour remonter sur les deux cartes qui sont devant lui. On va voir s'il va pouvoir creuser l'écart. Et derrière, on retrouve Charles Seguin et Fabian Bock, le numéro 777.
Right. As things stand, Jack Dex would be starting the final from pole position. However, Vivian Cusack-Pico would be just 3 points behind Jack Dex. If Cusack-Pico can catch and pass Schlunzen, then that would put Cusack-Pico onto pole position. Jeremy Brasler sets the fastest lap of the race. Dennis Toom would, if things stay as they are, would drop to 7th in points, which means he would start on the inside of the 4th row of the grid. It is, well, it's not a total disaster, but it certainly isn't the best way to start a Saturday morning if you are Dennis Toom.
Allez, nouveau passage sur la ligne avec Jack Dex, toujours aux commandes devant Robert Schulzen. Cusack-Pico est en train de porter son effort pour essayer de revenir sur le pilote devant lui. Mais attention, Cusack-Pico, il ne faut pas qu'il commette d'erreur parce que juste derrière lui, eh bien, Charles Seguin est là prêt à bondir, tout comme Fabian Bock. On a 3 pilotes là qui sont roue dans roue. Et pour eh bien, Charles Seguin, il y a pression maximale. Essayer de revenir évidemment sur Cusack-Pico pour le gain de la 3e place, mais en même temps contenir le retour de Fabian Bock.
Jack Dex's lead now stands at 9/10 of a second over Schlunzen. And as you have a little look, Cusack-Pico and Sagan are closing in on the Danish driver. The Danish driver in cart number 727, that RS competition machine. RS competition to be very impressive this week. Now, looking back there, sadly, Christoph Adams has also retired. Sauhun Moon is 28th. Anastasios Lukides is 27th. Rainier Bourne 26th. Ron Billings 25th. 24th for Felipe Villegas. Then it's Tony Hogg 23rd. Niels Böhler and Keybjorn Edstrom with Lucas Lippert rounding out the top 20. Wim Rouleau, owner of the most beautiful socks in all the paddock, according to his team, is up into 18th place.
Et Cusack-Pico est passé pour la 2e position. Il a pris le meilleur sur Robert Schlussen au virage numéro 3. Il s'est pointé à l'intérieur et Schlussen n'a rien pu faire. Cusack-Pico donc en 2e position et j'ai l'impression que derrière, eh bien, Charles Seguin est en train de se rapprocher lui aussi de Schlussen avec Fabian Bock dans son sillage, et Charles Seguin aimerait bien imiter son compatriote dans ce nouveau tour. Voilà exactement la même manœuvre au freinage du virage numéro 3 avec Charles Seguin désormais en 3e position. Schlussen qui rétrograde à la 4e place et qui reste maintenant sous la menace de Fabian Bock.
And the move that Vivian Cusack-Pico put on Robert Schlunzen half a lap or so ago moves Cusack-Pico onto 193 points. Jack Dex, leading this race, has 190, so that was a significant pass. That pass puts Cusack-Pico provisionally on pole position for the final itself. He is not going to, well, he may catch Jack Dex. We're on lap 11 out of 14. It is unlikely, however. There's the leaders. Schlunzen is falling back. He's been passed by Sagan, and now the remaining Kraft Motorsport kart at the front of this field, Fabian Bock, is looking for a way past Schlunzen as well. And behind them, you've got Nadir Kabaj, followed by Andreas Brenkush, Yannick Nielsen, and Christophe Capitan, all in a line. Harold Watson in 10th on the Sodi kart is a little way back before you get to Romain Monge in the Malvo Sport entry. Monge, who has second 2 years ago, 10th last year, currently running 11th now.
Ouais, Romain Manger qui occupe actuellement la 11e position. Il a été malheureux hier, il a été obligé d'abandonner dans la dernière manche de l'après-midi. Romain Manger, deuxième il y a 2 ans, 10e l'an passé ici même. Attention, il est en train de revenir. Et pour revenir également sur la course derrière Schlussen, voilà, ça s'attaque avec Bock qui tente de trouver l'ouverture. Eh bien, il faut aussi surveiller Nadir Kabej, parce que si Nadir Kabej gagne une position, ça pourrait lui permettre également de gagner une position sur la grille de départ, voire mieux si les choses évoluent en sa faveur pour Nadir Kabej, le numéro 701, qui est actuellement en 6e position.
Yeah, there is something not right with Schlunsen's kart, because he is holding up traffic, and Fabian Bock there gets snookered by Nadir Kabaj. So the Moroccan driver, Kabaj, driving for the Dream Racing team, has now moved into the... Oh, and there's a move by Yannick Nielsen. Wow. That is another of the Danish drivers, Nielsen, in the 702 kart, sending one right at the inside, going into the Virage de Technopark. Manger is next, and I think that is Christophe Capitan in the RM Concept, the blue cart. But Cusack Pico on the final lap has got the bit between his teeth, and he is going for it. Jack Dex might have to defend before this one is over yet.
Cusack Pico qui revient dans le sillage du leader Jack Dex. Après, il y aura la victoire, mais ça ne changera pas la physionomie de cette première ligne, puisque Cusack Pico est déjà assuré de partir en pole position pour la finale. Alors, est-ce que c'est une question de principe, dirons-nous, pour Cusack Pico, qui met la pression sur Jack Dex, mais Jack Dex qui devrait pouvoir s'en sortir? Oui! C'est fait, Jack Dex qui s'impose devant Cusack Pico, Charles Seguin est 3e, Schlussen 4e, et Bock finalement a repris le meilleur sur Kabej. Et donc, eh bien, avec ce dépassement dans la dernière ligne droite, Fabien Bock s'installe sur la 3e place de la grille de départ devant Brenkush, et Kabej recule à la 3e ligne de cette grille de cet après-midi en 6e position.
Well, Jack Dex, you can see there having a slow down. I wanted to just take a couple of moments. Jack Dex is one of the most understated, underrated team owners in British karting. He goes about, he's based at Wilton Mill in Daventry and has got a great reputation there. He's also got, as an ex-driver, this is his return to the pits. He's in the Dan Holland Racing awning, but he has his own team, Jack Dex Racing. He has been loyal to the MS kart brand for many, many years. And about 10 years ago, when my Edukarting Bahamas program was about to take off, we went round the British paddock and said, look, if you've got any old tyres, old chassis, old engines that you don't need anymore, would anyone be kind enough just to sort of give us stuff that we could take out to start our project? And Jack Dex, without knowing anything about it, gave more equipment than any other team in the paddock, which is fantastic. Now let's have a little look back at this race. So Dennis Toom leading, but not leading, and he would disappear. But then once Jack Dex was released, he had a handy advantage. Schlunsen second, but then Schlunsen gets passed by Vivian Cusack Pico, and Schlunsen starting to go backwards. Charles Sagan also going through. Schlunsen would eventually finish 4th, with Fabian Bock 5th. Bock then gets caught out by Nadir Kabaj, but does fight back. And as the race progresses, Jack Dex even having to defend there into the Virage de Technopark corner for the last time. So Vivian Cusack Pico sending a message to Jack Dex that he will be there in the final, and Cusack Pico would go from the front row pole position. But the next race up is the granddaddy of all classes, the ultimate Rotax class. It is DD2, and I'm sure Jen Wade is down on the grid. There she is. Looks like Jen is going to speak to Leonardo Baccaglini's family. Take it away, Jen.
I'm just waiting until he gets dressed. I thought this is a family program, so we shouldn't interfere when a guy's putting on his race suit. But Leonardo, of course, you were our pole sitter, and you didn't even believe it. We were in the Parc Fermé. You came off the scales, and you're looking at mechanic, which is Granddad, behind us, saying, "What are they doing? What happened?" And I said, "I've got the time," and you're like, "How did I go?"
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. Now they didn't went as we expected. We had some bad luck and some engine problem. Now I don't know what to wish. I mean, we have the pace, but races against this really good driver is always hard. So I will do my best, and we see what happens.
Yeah. I think there's just one wish, and that's probably to win. But as you said, the competition is really tough. Yesterday we talked to some of the front runners. Of course, you were there. We kind of avoided you for a little bit because you'd had a bit of a shocker. Zen's right behind you, so we won't talk too loud because you guys came together. But you know each other. There's a lot of respect on this grid, and I think that's, in the end, what it comes down to. But it's really nice racing. I don't know what it feels like for you out there when this is all happening, though. Your heart must be racing I don't know how many beats a minute.
Yeah, the competition is really high, but there's respect too. I mean, the fights are hard but fair, so that's the most important thing, in my opinion.
Yeah.
There must be respect.
Yes, must be respect. We're enjoying the racing. Stay calm.
Yeah.
Get through this one, and we see you on the finals grid.
I hope. Thank you.
Anyone you want to say hi to in Italian?
Yeah, probably there's Nicola Ferrappi, my coach, and my mom too, maybe my grandma, I don't know. Ciao mamma, ciao nonna, speriamo il meglio, dai.
Mille grazie.
Grazie.
Thank you. Okay, David Alleitner, here we go. Quick chat. Now, what's been happening since we saw you in the qualifying?
Nothing much really, just some good pace and some lack of pace has been setting us back a bit, and a bit of the racing. But other than that, it's going well so far. Starting in the front, so not bad.
It's got to be good.
It is good. It is good at the minute. So.
And what about this circuit? Pretty special? Fast? Grippy?
Fast and grippy, just like every other one. So, gotta get used to it. Gotta learn it, and gotta be the best at it.
That's it. We're going to let you go. Thank you so much. Back to you, Henry, because I'm going off the grid, but front row. So we've got, of course, our former champion here, Team France, front row, Antoine Barbaroux. Thank you, Henry and Eric. Back to you, Henry. Okay, Henry's not there. He's having a break. So we will wait. IMCA Arts. We had a chat yesterday, actually, with IMCA, and a few people listened to the interview and said it was quite interesting that she didn't actually start until she was 14 years of age. Here she is still, after qualifying third and through the heats, starting on the second row. So really impressive. IMCA Arts, if anyone doesn't know her from the Netherlands. Thanks, Henry. Nice to see you back.
There is a look at IMCA Arts, starting on the second row of the grid. We've just seen the reigning champion, Antoine Barbaroux. There is the Jody Scheckter tribute crash helmet belonging to Leonardo Baccaglini, just behind a very pensive-looking Zen de Rua. De Rua is probably, and this is not a record that Zen would like, he is the most successful Grand Finals driver to have never actually won a Grand Final. Both Zen and Antti Ollikainen from Finland have been perennial contenders at the Grand Final. Zen just managed to qualify year on year, but there's IMCA Arts. She has done 4 Grand Finals, the Dutch lady. These are the fastest of all. There is the only CRG kart on the grid, just at the left-hand side. That's Denmark's Rasmus Vendelbo, and you're looking there. If you want to know what the drivers do before they get given the start, at this time, their just thoughts are all about, what has my mechanic said? What is my tactic going into turn number 1? They are alone with their thoughts. The dummy grid is silent. The grid is silent, and soon it will be a cacophony of noise. The last couple of photographers there getting those shots. And we wait, and we wait. And there's the Kraft Motorsport kart. There's Vendelbo, the Danish driver. There is the 665 kart of David Auleshner, who apparently, according to his team, has not managed to be on time once, ever. And the punishment is he has to do push-ups every time he is late. But obviously he is concerned about his physique, so he just continues to do push-ups. Here we go then, the starting lineup. Antoine Barbaroux and Len Nice on row number 1. Imke Arts and Leon Mandel on row 2. Leonardo Baccaglini and David Auleshner, row 3. Zen de Rua and Rasmus Vendelbo, row 4. Kilian Guerin and Frederick Zebis, row 5. Patrick Nielsen and Will Ellswood, row 6. William Christensen and Nikita Genser, row 7. Jordan Caillet and Victor Sondin on row number 9. Then it's Matthew Fier and Marco Dritten-Price, the youngest driver in this class, just 14 years old. Mats Johan Overhaus and Leon Zelenko are next. Then Baptiste Schneider, Philipp Moazzi, Matej Kolmanic, Gabin Desert, Luis Koch, Christoph Risk, Camilla Larson, Brian Anker, and then it is Noah Tamaska, Jordi Claribo, Kian de Brandt, Daniel Quintero, Rafael Jesus, Christos Dimitriou, Moemen Ben Amor, and Maximilian Adolf. 36 drivers, 14 laps.
14 tours à parcourir dans cette super hit réservé aux concurrents de la catégorie DD2. On rappelle que c'est Antoine Barbaroux, le français, qui s'élance en pole position. Antoine qui a signé 2 succès hier dans les manches de qualification. La 3e manche de qualification avait été remportée par Xen de Roo. Xen de Roo qui va partir seulement de la 4e ligne. Allez, Antoine Barbaroux qui aura à ses côtés Len Nuss, le pilote belge, le numéro 646. Le dernier virage est négocié. Est-ce que l'on va valider ce départ du côté de la direction de course? Oui, c'est fait. Avec un très bon départ, me semble-t-il, d'Antoine Barbaroux, voilà, qui va plonger en tête dans le premier virage. Et il me semble que derrière, eh bien, on a Inke Hartz, la numéro 621. Oui, c'est ça, Inke Hartz qui est parti dans les roues du poleman et qui a réussi à prendre le meilleur sur Len Nuss.
Oh, and a couple of karts in the middle of the pack there, getting sideways, a little bit of side-by-side rubbing, as it were, but they both continue, losing a little bit of ground, but they were not amongst the front runners. It's a remarkably clean first half a lap. The leaders go out onto the banking. That looks like Will Ellswood trying to go high, wide and handsome through the banking there for the Kraft Motorsport team, the young driver from England, the West Country in England, making up a couple of positions, and there was a bit of three-wide action there. Sharp intake of breath from Eric Sellis, but they all somehow managed to emerge unscathed, with Barbaroux leading Arts at the end of lap number 1.
Antoine Barbaroux donc qui boucle le premier tour en tête avec Inke Hartz dans son sillage. Inke Hartz qui s'est fait un petit peu harponner dans le virage du paddock par Len Ninch, le 646, mais c'est resté à peu près dans la normalité, on va dire. Elle s'est quand même retournée, Inke Hartz, pour montrer qu'elle n'était pas vraiment en adéquation avec la manœuvre du pilote qui était derrière elle. Et on retrouve donc Len Ninch, le 646 en 3e position. Leonardo Baccaglini qui va tenter de revenir. Oh là, ça passe dans la ligne droite. Il y a eu visiblement un raté là, à la sortie du pif-paf qui commande la ligne droite du chemin au bœuf, et un changement derrière les 3 cartes de tête avec toujours Barbaroux, Hartz, Ninch, et derrière on va retrouver Olechner, le numéro 685, 2 roues qui remontent en 5e position, Leon Mandel 6e et Patrick Nielsen en 7e position. Où est passé Leonardo Baccaglini? Il est passé seulement 8e sur la ligne de chronométrage. C'est lui qui ferme la marche du groupe de chasse.
fantastic battling for fourth place. Zendarua emerges in front of David Oleshner with Leon Mandel just behind. Oh, there's the 628 kart. That's Victor Sandin, the cousin of DD2 Masters driver Charles Sandin. Seguin. Victor Sandin, well, he was all over the place there. Sadly, I noticed one driver going straight on at the banking out of the race. That was Matiz Kolmanic. Gabon Desert has also not come around. And look at this, there's still Baccaglini on the outside. And they somehow all get round again over the curbs for the Italian driver for the Drake Motorsport team. And Barbarou, Arts and Len Nice have escaped up at the front. In fact, Barbarou has escaped from both Arts and Nice. Then it's Derua now with the hammer down and trying to close in, but followed by Oleshner. And there's a side-by-side moment between Oleshner and Mandel. And Oleshner, the Sheepers Racing driver, has it. Mandel wants it. Into virage au Technopark. Mandel has it.
Ouais, ça a été très très chaud là entre Mandel et Oleshner. Ça a commencé dans le bunking. Oleshner a fait l'extérieur et on continue de s'expliquer. C'est chaud entre Mandel et Oleshner. Attention de ne pas commettre l'irréparable. Pendant ce temps-là, Barbarou est toujours largement aux commandes avec un petit peu plus loin Arts qui essaye de conserver le contact, et derrière on a Ninch et Derou qui sont au coude à coude. Attention, on va certainement avoir un dépassement. Oui, c'est le cas dans le banking avec cette attaque, me semble-t-il, de Derou sur Ninch, et Derou qui est passé en 3e position.
Yes, and Derou, whose first heat race on, let me think, Thursday lasted one lap before he had an incident and bent his rear axle. He is charging up through the field, now into P3 ahead of Len Nice. That move puts Derou 4th in points, just one marker ahead of Leon Mandel. As things stand, our race leader, Antoine Barbarou, has 219 points. He would be starting the final from pole position. Impke Arts would be starting on the outside of row number 1 as we look at some battles in the middle of the pack. I think that is the Gillard chassis involved there. Let's have a little see. That is Baptiste Schneider in 16th position, that red Gillard chassis for the PKS competition team driver. Len Nice would be starting 3rd, Derua 4th, Mandel 5th, Oleshner 6th, Baccaglini 7th and Vendelbo 8th. That would be the starting grid for the final if things stayed as they are, which of course it's karting and they won't. But Barbarou now extends to 0.6 of a second, and now it's Leon Mandel's turn to set the fastest lap of the race as he sets off after Len Nice. You're looking there briefly at Leonardo Baccaglini leading Patrick Nielsen, Killian Guerin, and then the orange and black attack of Rasmus Vendelbo. Will Ellswood, whose dad Stefan spent the entire budget on a new set of rims, and Will was under strict instruction, look, win, lose or draw, just don't crash because we can't afford any more rims. No, I'm only joking, but I don't know if they can afford it or not, who knows. But I know that Stefan spending pounds on rims, but Ellswood, to be fair, is putting them to good use.
Allez, Antoine Barbarou qui va de nouveau boucler un tour en tête, et il me semble que Henke Hartz est revenu. Ouais, elle a accéléré la cadence parce que derrière, Derou également a accéléré le rythme. Il lui avait repris 2 dixièmes dans le tour précédent, et la pilote du kart 621 a accéléré la cadence pour essayer de limiter le retour du pilote qui est derrière elle, avec un changement là entre Mandel et Ninch. Mandel qui a pris la 4e position, et on va avoir un finish vraiment au coude à coude dans tous ces pilotes, même si pour l'instant les écarts sont assez importants. On peut avoir des rebondissements parce qu'on l'a vu dans le dernier tiers de course hier, il y avait eu pas mal de regroupements, un petit peu à l'image de ce qu'on voit actuellement, avec Henke Hartz qui est en train de revenir sur Antoine Barbarou. Et attention à deux roues, on l'a expliqué hier, il a couru un petit peu moins suite à un problème technique. Il a donc un capital pneumatique qui est peut-être un tout petit peu moins entamé, et ça lui permet bien de finir toujours très très fort. Et on le voit ici, deux roues qui est en train de revenir sur les deux cartes devant lui.
Now I'm looking at the front bumper of Len Nice's kart. Now, obviously, you have the pushback bumper, but it seems as though the left-hand side of Len Nice's nose cone has become attached and it's hanging down. There's a great angle of it as he goes through the Maison Blanc S's, and I noticed that Nice sort of almost said to his teammate Aulejna, go, go, go. Oh, and there's some side-by-side action behind them. That looks like... well, that looks like everybody. That is Ellswood, Patrick Nielsen, William Christensen, Matthew Fiera. But yeah, no, that was a little bit of a hip check maneuver. But yeah, Len Nice, I think, realised, okay, look, my nose cone is down. I've got damage to it. What's the point in holding my teammate up? Because I'm going to get a penalty anyway. I don't know, you may not get a penalty, but that nose cone on that cart there, you can see, is... starting to sort of the left-hand side of it. Looks like it's broken away from its mountings. Maybe it's got caught on the rear bumper of another cart and had just been pulled out a little bit. Further down the order, I'm just going to quickly check to see who we've lost. We've still got 34 carts running. Moemen Ben Amour, 34th. Christos Dimitriou, 33rd. Jordi Cleribo, 32nd. Daniel Quintero is 31st. Rafael Jesus is 30th. Camilla Larson, 29th. And Kian de Brandt, Luis Koch, Marco Drittenprice. The top 25 is rounded out by Noah Tamaska at the minute. But Len Nice now holding up a non-Sheepers Racing cart, Leonardo Baccaglini. And Len Nice by name. Baccaglini's saying, I wish you were nice by nature. But apparently... looking at the wonderful bits there, Len Nice, another person, they say he's a pain in the you-know-what to his team, in a nice way, but he is always late. He's gone to the David Aulejna School of Timekeeping, and his punishment, however, is having his phone taken off him, which any sort of young person knows that's a fate worse than death, almost. We have lost another cart. Parked Maximilian Adolf has parked the number 626 RTM Racing Team Margraf machine, but we are now onto lap number 12.
Ouais, 12e tour de course, et attention parce que De Roux est en train de revenir très fort sur Hartz, Inke Hartz qui va devoir batailler là durant les trois derniers tours quasiment de course, parce que De Roux est en train de revenir, de faire la jonction sur la pilote en deuxième position. Pour Antoine Barbarou, ça semble être en principe bon. Il va certainement profiter de la bagarre entre Hartz et De Roux pour conserver son leadership et peut-être même l'accroître si jamais les choses se compliquent entre Hartz et De Roux. Et attention à De Roux là maintenant, qui va pouvoir profiter de l'aspiration dans cette ligne droite des stands. Va-t-il pouvoir attaquer au premier virage? Non, il me semble un petit peu loin. Mais ça devrait pas trop tarder pour De Roux de tenter une attaque sur Hartz, qui va devoir vraiment fermer les portes.
Well, I would say, as we are on the penultimate lap now, Zen de Rua is a happily married man, and as a happily married man, he doesn't want to spend too long looking at Imke Arts' rear end, the rear end of a cart. Sorry, Sarah, who's watching this. So Zen de Rua needs to make a move quickly. Arts defending second. Zen de Rua, I think if he does make the move on Imke Arts, that would put de Rua third on the grid. And here we go, de Rua to the inside. He was obviously listening, and he realised that he doesn't want to get into trouble with Sarah. Only joking, but he is now up into P2, and that does move de Rua into third place in the points, which means he would provisionally start the final from the inside of row 2.
Et Leon Mendel maintenant qui est en 4e position, qui se dit qu'il y a peut-être quelque chose à faire dans ce dernier tour. Pour Antoine Barbarou, ça semble être bon. Pour Deux Roues, eh bien ça y est, il a porter son attaque, on la sentait venir au freinage de la ligne droite du chemin au bœuf, une attaque vraiment imparable pour Inke Hartz. Inke Hartz maintenant qui est en 3e position, mais attention, Leon Mendel, il est un peu loin pour profiter de l'aspiration. Leon Mendel qui va devoir se contenter entre guillemets de la 4e place. Antoine Barbarou lui va aller chercher une nouvelle victoire, une victoire d'importance qui lui assure évidemment de partir en pole position tout à l'heure. Voilà, victoire d'Antoine Barbarou devant Deux Roues, Hartz et Mendel.
Excellent top 4. Outside the top 4, Auleshna finishes 5th. Bakaglini 6th. Vendelbo passes Len Nice for 7th. Guerin is 9th. Patrick Nielsen 10th. William Ellswood 11th. And William Christensen. And a great drive from 20th to 13th from Leon Zelenko. Jordan Kaye and Mats Johan Overhoff are next. Mwatsi, Zebis, Genser, Christoph Risk from Lebanon and Matthew Fier are next. Well, Antoine Barbarou won this event a year ago. Now, he has qualified for the Rotax Grand Finals for the last 3 seasons at least. In Bahrain in 2021, he led this class in the final, eventually got passed by Martin van Leeuwen, and then got a penalty, which dropped it down the order. The last 2 years, Barbarou has been a contender, but has had problems in the finals and has not finished either final. So Portugal 2022, Bahrain 2023, Barbarou has not had the finish that his speed and talent warrants. So the hunger to go back and finish what he started this year is great for Barbarou, and that was an imperious drive, because you can see here from the word go, Imke Arts right behind Barbarou gets a great start at the back of the field. There was a bit of side-by-side, sideways action. The number 674 cart of Marco Drittenprice was amongst there. Bakaglini lost ground early on. Now there was Zen Derua, and at this point Derua had a lot of work to do. Mandel and Len Nice battling together. Nice would be going backwards generally. I think he had damage to his cart. Further down in the pack, yes, there was lots of incidents, and here's the move from Derua. Late on the anchors going into Virage to Techno Park, but Barbarou leading from start to finish, and the Frenchman will be tough to beat. It concludes DD2. 5 superheats to go. 2 in Junior Rotax. Superheat A and B, they're up next.
Here for the first of, obviously, the superheats for juniors. And I spot an Aussie flag. And of course, I know it's in the evening. I've sent the link. There's lots of Aussies watching, but also lots of guys from the Emirates. Caden Higgins, how are you?
I'm absolutely incredible. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Absolutely incredible. Okay, it's I suppose it's a sunny day. It's not so hot. It's finals day. You're on the second row. Tell us about your weekend.
Yeah, it was. It's been a very good weekend so far. We've been really fast. We've had some good performances, but also some not so good ones. Obviously, I really just want to do my best here, and finishing on the top step would be absolutely incredible for everyone and the team.
Now, of course, we ran into each other a few times over the last years. Here, actually, we met on the grid, but you were a little bit younger.
Yep, definitely.
In Mini?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, I don't know. The years go by so quickly. Micro, even? No, not Micro, maybe Mini. But in any case, we saw at the Euro Trophy, you put it on pole recently, and I guess now here you are with so many good drivers.
Yeah, definitely. The Euro Trophy had some of the drivers here, yep. So it was definitely really good to be putting that on pole there. Obviously, we're fast here too. Sorry, but the drivers, they're just so aggressive compared to where I usually race.
Okay, it's a little bit different. We changed the location. You get a different track. It's a famous track, of course. It's fast, a little bit of grip out there after yesterday because it was over 30 degrees. So today, from the warm-up, what do you think? Has it changed very much overnight?
Yeah, in the last race yesterday, it was so much rubber build-up that it actually started to get slippery. And even after asking some of the other drivers about it, they would also agree. This race, I don't think is going to have that, but possibly the last race, the final today, might also have that. So really, it really depends on driver skill for where we finish.
And of course, I know there's a lot of people watching. Anyone special you'd like to say hi to?
Definitely my family and my mum all the way back in the UAE and then also in Australia. Yeah. They've supported me so much and I just really like to say thanks.
Yeah. It's nice, and we've got so many countries, more than 40 here represented this week, which is crazy when you think about it. But it's summer, it's holidays, and we're enjoying Le Mans, and we're going to see how the track conditions are. I'm not going to mention the word rain, okay?
No, hopefully not. Anyway, I've got to go. Very nice speaking to you.
Thank you. You too. Good luck.
There is a look at our pole sitter, Jacob Ashcroft from Weston-super-Mare in England. He has his lucky Ayrton Senna gloves on and he waits to be given the signal to go. 72 drivers entered Junior Rotax. 36 of them go in this race. Another 36 go in Superheat B. Now, obviously, we are also looking for not only the pole sitters, who is going to make the cut. At the moment in this race, the last driver in this grid currently qualified is Noah Barham. He has 57 points. Now, Ashcroft hoping to summon the spirit of Senna in this race, sitting, eyes fixed behind the visor, still aware to make a wave to the camera. Barham is 35th in points. He will start a little bit further back. The first driver on the outside looking in is Ollie Wise, 37th in points with 52 points. It's going to be very, very tricky and interesting to see who can make ground. Some drivers who start today outside the top 36 will race their way in to the main event. Other drivers who are currently in the top 36, well, they will race their way out. Here is your starting lineup. Jacob Ashcroft and Theo Palmer go from row number 1. Lewis Goff and Caden Higgins on row 2. Tish Van Wyk and Noah Janssen, row 3. Bran van der Weken and Leonidas Peruzzi, row 4. Oscar Goodchow and Vivian Guillaume, row 5. Connor Clancy and Antoine Grissel, row 6. Rayan Bourguignon and Matthias Keller at row 7. Martin Lichner and Lorenzo Giaquinto, row 8. Bastian Ottensama and Noah Barham, row 9. All those drivers are currently inside the top 36 in points. Outside the top 36 in points, looking to gain ground and make their way into the main event later on. Ollie Wise and Christian Sierson. Then Kai Veach and Owen Baroni. Valentin Beauvoir and Nathan Kappen. Sadly, JJ Ambrose hurt his wrist yesterday and is not racing. Gabriel Canal, Uros Bogdanic, Boris Verhaga, Jay Jacquet, Timon Trinca, Yanis Courage, Giacomo Di Pasquale, Charlene Cordier, Daniel Syria Isa, Rafael Youssef and Andreas Kosciari. They're the rank outsiders. This is probably their last race of the International Trophy. But as we come to the line, lights are out, we're off and racing. A good even start. Theo Palmer keeping it side by side with Ashcroft, but Ashcroft holds on, and in the middle of the pack, a couple of spinners. That could be significant for several drivers who are on the brink of not making it already. We'll get number checks next time around. But as we head through turn number 5, Eric Sellis, it's Ashcroft who has done what he needs to do. Vivian Gionnet and Leonidas Peruzzi were among the spinners, but further back, it's Christian Sierson. Disaster for the Dane. He started this race 39th in points and he's already down the back of the field.
Peruzzi également semble avoir eu des problèmes dans cet accrochage et Guyonnet également qui sont repartis très très loin. Pendant ce temps-là, Jacob Ashcroft lui ne s'est pas posé de questions. Il est parti en tête mais il s'est fait doubler dans ce tour avec Lewis Goff qui a pris les commandes devant Ashcroft et Palmer. Lewis Goff qui va évidemment être l'homme à aller chercher pour Ashcroft pour tenter, eh bien, pourquoi pas, de faire le hat-trick. Lui qui a gagné les 2 dernières manches de qualification. Ashcroft, les 2 pilotes britanniques qui sont roue dans roue, et Theo Palmer en 3e position. Van Wyck est 4e. Gouchot est en 5e position lors du passage sur la ligne de chronométrage. Et attention, ça s'attaque dans le banking juste derrière. Je me demande si c'est pas Gouchot justement qui a porté une attaque. On va attendre d'avoir visuellement la confirmation de tout cela, mais devant ça s'est resserré. Goff, Ashcroft, Palmer qui sont roue dans roue.
Tish Van Wyck from the Netherlands making a good move there on Ashcroft to push the pole sitter down to 3rd position. It was Lewis Goff, whose dad Sean runs the Optimum Motorsport team in sports car racing, and actually the Optimum Motorsport team, their McLaren sat on pole position in the GT class, but Lewis Goff is not heading the Junior Rotax class anymore because Tish Van Wyck has gone through. 4 karts have a breakaway. It's Van Wyck from Goff, Ashcroft, and then Theo Palmer. Then a big gap back to Oscar Gouchot, Caden Higgins and Connor Clancy. Now, Ollie Wise, we mentioned him earlier for the KR Sport team in kart 256, started this race 1 place and 1 point out of the top 36. Well, he's gained 10 spots. He's up to 9th. He is trying to, and he's succeeding at the moment. He is racing his way into the main event, going in the other direction. We've got Lorenzo Giaquinto has dropped back. Christian Sierson has dropped back. Leonidas Peruzzi, I think he's safe, but he's not having a good run. But also Uros Bogdanic and Kai Veach, they're making a bid. Veach qualified 67th and is currently now in this race running up in, let's have a little look. Oh, there's the 209 kart out. That's Jade Jacquet, the young lady for the Lehouk Racing team, and she will go no further. Her international trophy is over.
Allez, on retrouve les 4 hommes toujours en tête, emmenés par Thys Van Wyck qui, pour l'instant, eh bien, est sérieusement installé aux commandes. On a derrière lui Goff, Ashcroft, Palmer, Ashcroft, Groff. Ça va forcément bouger. Et un tout petit peu plus loin derrière, en 5e position, c'est lui qui emmène le groupe de chasse. Eh bien, c'est Oscar Gouchot qui est toujours en 5e position. Voilà, Goff, Ashcroft, Palmer. C'est l'ordre dans lequel les hommes sont passés à la poursuite de Van Wyck, le leader. Et pour Oscar Gouchot, eh bien ça tient bon, il va falloir résister, hein. On n'a fait que 5 tours pour l'instant, il y en aura encore 9 à parcourir, mais pour le français c'est plutôt pas mal engagé, lui qui est dans le top 8 pour l'instant, mais attention, il reste aussi une autre manche à disputer.
Well, the top 4 continue to discuss and dispute the race lead. Van Wyck head down. Goff in his wheel tracks. Will Lewis Goff make a move? No, it's too early in proceedings at the moment. We are on lap 5, but now Goff does make a move. Well, curse the commentator. Goff just waited a corner. They thought, right, I'm going to make a mug out of Henry here, and he's done so by, putting Tish Van Beek to the sword, as it were. Ashcroft patiently sitting in third. Palmer, excellent performance from Palmer this weekend. And here comes Van Wyk up the inside of Goff at turn 3. Oh, and well, Lewis Goff says, no you don't. But Ashcroft has to stand on the anchors to avoid running into the back of Van Wyk. And that costs him third place as Theo Palmer capitalises. But and now Goff defending. We're on lap 5. And Lewis Goff is, doesn't want to be hugging those white lines too early, because that will upset everyone behind him. And already that lead group of 4 has multiplied. It's like mating season at Watership Down, because Guccio, Bourguignon, Clancy, Van der Weyken are all there as well. And still Lewis Goff, well, it's like a groupie at Glastonbury. He can't stay away from those white lines. And he comes on to the infield straight. Van Wyk will try and move Goff out of the way, and he can't.
Et ça s'est regroupé en tête de la course avec cette manœuvre quelque peu surprenante de Lewis Goff, qui a tout tenté pour empêcher Van Wyk de passer dans le tour précédent, et de fait, à force de jouer avec son adversaire direct et à ralentir le rythme, eh bien il a permis au groupe de chasse de revenir. Alors derrière, ça s'explique également avec toujours Oscar Gouchot qui, semble-t-il, a repris les commandes de ce groupe de chasse. Ça s'est un petit peu bousculé, il y a de nouveau une scission qui s'est opérée, mais pour l'heure Lewis Goff est pour l'instant toujours aux commandes. Il a compris qu'il fallait peut-être arrêter de jouer et se concentrer sur son pilotage. Van Wyk est en deuxième position, Palmer troisième, Ashcroft quatrième.
Through turn number 1, the Curva du Restaurant. And now Goff beginning to pulls away again, but no, he's defending into turn number 3. So at the moment, Goff would be starting. Well, I mean, he's third in points. We're not going to get a real read of the point standings until Superheat B takes to the track. I can tell you, however, that Uros Bogdanic, let's have a look. Uros, well, he's not going to make it anyway, but he's having a fantastic drive. Oh, and there's Goff. And here comes Ashcroft, side by side for the lead. No, Goff just making, well, I mean, his dad runs a team of McLaren GTs. That go-kart from Sam Pollitt Racing is about as wide as a McLaren GT at the moment, as he holds the rest of the lead pack at bay. But the lead pack are getting restless. And I got a feeling Lewis Goff might find himself heading towards the outside of a corner, not of his own making, if things carry on the way they are, because somebody, and I'm not going to say who, but because it's going to be any one of about 10 drivers, but with 8 laps gone and 6 to go, somebody is going to lose patience unless Lewis Goff just sort of starts thinning the herd again, as it were. Ollie Wise up to 14th position. He's gaining ground. That would currently put him in the top 36. Kai Veach was up into 15th place. He's dropped to 17th. He was 41st in points with 49 markers. The qualifying limit was 53 at the start of this race, so Veach has gained, but he needs to gain a bit more. Does Kai Veach. Bogdanic having a great drive. Martin Lickner is teetering on the edge as well. But Veach going backwards now. I think that could be game over for Kai Veach, unless he can pick up a few positions. But still, Goff leads Ashcroft by 0.3 of a second, with Van Wyk, Palmer and Higgins next.
Allez, c'est toujours très disputé en haut de cette hiérarchie avec Lewis Goff qui joue toujours un petit peu avec le feu, qui n'hésite pas à se retourner dans la ligne droite comme on l'a vu pour un petit peu toiser ses adversaires, les ralentir, les bloquer un petit peu. Et attention quand même que ce petit plan de jeu ne se retourne pas contre le Britannique dans les derniers tours de course. Pour l'instant, il est hors de menace de Ashcroft et de Van Wyk, mais derrière, eh bien, ça pourrait revenir également avec Palmer et Higgins qui sont encore lancés à la poursuite. Derrière le groupe de chasse, c'est toujours Oscar Gouchot qui est en train de mener la chasse.
Vivian Gionnet in car 211, running already well down the pack in 28th position, has just lost a side pod and is getting the mechanical flag. Right, Guionnet, 19th in points with 78 markers, will have to retire. I will look at where he would finish. That would put him 34th and would give him 3 points. That would take Guionnet up to 81 points. As a comparison, Ollie Wise is in 15th position. That would give Ollie Wise an extra 26 points and would put Wise on to 78. So Guionnet is absolutely teetering on the brink of qualifying. Ollie Wise needs to get his head down. He is back in the number 256 kart. We're watching the lead battle. The lead battle is one thing. The battle for making the main event is another. Ollie Wise, this is his chance, but he's got to make a couple more positions up.
Et ça bouge devant, puisque ça y est, Van Wyk a pris les choses en main. Il a fait sauter le bouchon Lewis Goff. Lewis Goff qui jouait un petit peu trop avec les nerfs de ses adversaires. Pour l'instant, ça se retourne contre lui. A-t-il les moyens de revenir, de reprendre le leadership? Ça, on va le savoir. Mais il était clair que depuis quelques tours, eh bien, Goff était un petit peu, on va dire, le poil à gratter de ce groupe de tête. Et Lewis Goff maintenant est deuxième. Et Van Wyk est toujours leader. C'est l'avant-dernier tour dans cette première super hit junior. On va voir ce que ça va donner. Pour l'instant, Van Wyk est un petit peu à distance de Goff. Est-ce que Goff va être en mesure de revenir sur le néerlandais? Ça, on va le savoir dans quelques instants. Mais attention, parce que derrière, Ashcroft et Palmer ne sont pas très loin. Et il pourrait également venir rendre la monnaie de sa pièce à Lewis Goff depuis le début de la course, qui a un petit peu joué avec eux. Est-ce qu'il va être sous la menace de ces deux pilotes? On va le savoir dans quelques instants. Le freinage du Technopark, non, ça passe pour tout le monde. Et Van Wyk va dans quelques instants couper la ligne pour le dernier tour.
Here we go. Last lap board goes out. Teish Van Wyk leads, head down. Goff second, looks over his shoulder. Ashcroft in third, having to defend from Theo Palmer. Ashcroft would have 204 points at the end of this one. Palmer would have 187, Van Wyk 184, Goff 183. That's as things stand, but we've still got the second superheat to go, however. Van der Weyken now runs in 5th place on the road. As we come out of the Maison Blanche S's, there is another kart going very slowly further back in the pack there. Oh, the 275 kart, that is Kai Veach. Veach was in the top 36 at one point in this race in the points, and his chance has gone. The KR Sport entry out of contention. But it's going to be a win for the Netherlands and a win for Teish Van Wyk as he crosses the line with Ashcroft, Goff second, Ashcroft third, Palmer and Van der Weyken next. Then it's Higgins, Oscar Gouchot, Connor Clancy, Rayan Bourguignon, Antoine Grisel. Uros Bogdanic finishes 11th from 27th on the grid. Now, 11th place in a superheat pays 34 points. That would put Bogdanic on 66. And realistically, no, that's not going to be enough, but he tried very hard. Guionnet will finish 33rd on 4 points. That gives Guionnet 82 markers. Ollie Wise finishes 13th. And 13th, and this is all provisional, don't forget, all provisional. Wise would score 30 points. Ho, ho, ho. That would put Ollie Wise on 82 points. If there is a tie break, I believe it is the qualifying time that is the tiebreaker. Now, if you look at the highlights package, Guionnet qualified 14th, Wise qualified 33rd. But of course, we don't know if anyone's going to get nose cone penalties or time penalties. That could change. As things stand, a tie between Guionnet and Wise possibly for a place in the main event. We will have to wait and see. Here's a look at some of the highlights. I've got to say, Eric, that Lewis Goff defending early and often. Tish van Wyk trying to make something happen, because there was a 4-kart breakaway, then it became a 9-kart breakaway, and Tish van Wyk getting aggressive and deciding, right, I can't be in a 9-kart battle, I have to go, and he went, and when he went, he was able to keep Van Wyk at bay, but Jacob Ashcroft and Theo Palmer all having a really good scrap as well.
Allez, on revoit effectivement les passes d'armes entre Goff, Van Wyk et Palmer. Ça a été très très chaud. Oh là, ça s'est un petit peu touché ici. Van Wyk qui avait fait l'intérieur, et au bout d'un moment, il a pris les choses en main, le pilote néerlandais, sans que le Britannique puisse ensuite revenir, même si le Britannique, en défendant à plusieurs reprises, a été quelque peu, je dirais pas insolent, mais en tout cas on sentait qu'il jouait un petit peu à l'intox avec ses adversaires directs. Pour l'heure, Van Wyk s'est imposé.
Well, thank you, Eric. Now we go back down to Jen Wade as we look forward to Super Heat B in Junior Rotax. And this could be a very dramatic race. There's a lot on the line. Take it away, Jen.
So I'm standing right in the middle of the grid. I'm looking at the flags around me. Many countries, but of course, front row French, which is not unusual here in Le Mans. But on my right, I'm going to talk to the Euro Trophy winner from Wackersdorf, Kasper Nissen from Denmark. I just want to know, Kasper, how are you handling the heat here?
Yeah, it's very hot. Trying to open my suit and just keep calm and then breathe a lot of air.
Good idea. Keep calm, breathe a lot of air.
Yeah.
Of course, yesterday I think was a little bit warmer, wasn't it, in the afternoon, over 30?
Yeah, it was intense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what do you guys do to keep cool between the race and to, stay kind of calm and...
Stay hydrated and eat a lot and drink some cold water. Mm-hmm. A lot of water all the time.
A lot of water. It seems like we're drinking gallons and gallons and litres of water. But tell me, third row, how's the weekend been so far?
I've had a bad qualifying, and then I had some good heats to fighting up from 14th and 13th position. Then I'm hoping for a good result here in the super heat to start a good position in the final.
Of course, it all comes down to the back straight, the slipstream, and there's a couple of really cool corners for overtaking as well. So it's really quite interesting, even though you think, okay, maybe I'm in a good position. Next thing, someone's like going past.
Yeah, some people try to send it, and sometimes it go wrong, sometimes it's very nice. So,
yes.
Yeah.
But it's really interesting for the racing. Also watching the first junior race. How are you going when it comes to the points? Do you sort of have a goal for this race, or are you just really going for P1?
Don't make too much, don't set your standards too high, because then you'll probably crash and go way back and then get some bad points for the final and start in like 10th position or something.
And today you really want to be on that final grid, don't you?
Yeah, very much.
Okay, Kasper, anyone you'd like to say hi to watching from Denmark or anywhere else at home?
Yeah, my parents at home. They're sitting home and watching.
Yeah. Many of the parents aren't here, but I thought it might be a nice holiday for them, but I suppose not, on the grid, on the track all weekend.
We have a shop at home,
Okay.
mini golf and ice cream, so.
Oh, okay, so they're busy.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to say good luck. Hi to everyone at home. Okay, so that's it from me on the grid, but we're going to see some nice images here from Dai, and then sit back and watch the action. Over to you, Henry.
Well, thank you, Jen. And now let's look at the contenders for this second heat. Well, like again, the top 18 starters in this race are all in the top 36 this morning. Lenny Robilo-Lagache in kart 204 is 36th in points coming into the day, 53 points. Laura Bubanova from Slovakia, she is 34th in points with 57. Now, the two drivers trying to fight their way in, the first of the two drivers trying to fight their way in is number 235, Eva Morris. She is on 51 points. And number 247, Ivion Simeonova, is on 49 points. There is a look at Matthew Dauvergne, the PB kart entered driver. And just behind Dauvergne, you have the number 232 of Boaz Maximov, the Bovan Power entered driver. America's Charlie Smith is there, the third kart in line from Newport Beach, California. He's a chilled out character, but I got a feeling his heart rate would be racing just a little bit. This is a really good performance from big time Charlie as we wait and for the drivers to go. Again, looking down at his micron, just making an adjustment there, Matthew Dauvergne. Some drivers keeping their visors up. It's not quite as hot today as it was yesterday, but it's still very, very warm indeed. 36 drivers once again. Dauvergne is going to start this one from pole position. And there is the signal. Now the engines begin. Now we give you the full starting lineup. Pole position, it's an all-French front row. Matthew Dauvergne and Lucas Skeles. Boaz Maximov and Cameron Nelson. Wales is Cameron Nelson on row number 2. Charlie Smith and Casper Nissen, the son of ex-sports car and touring car racer Chris Nissen. He is there on the outside of row number 3. Jeremy Roivers, the only driver from Spain here this week, remarkably. And Pablo Estevez are next. Matisse Ometre, the French-Senegalese driver in the all-plain white liveried kart number 293. He is next. And from New Zealand, Maxim Kerwan, having his best race possibly in his entire career. He starts next. Yuri Levar and Lilian Suarez are next. Then it's Dragos Afizulkute, Will Archer, Kai Clark, Maxime Prudent, Laura Bubinova and Lenny Romilo Lagash. They are the drivers currently in the main event. On the outside looking in, Eva Morris, Ivan Simeonova, Vlad Chemenchuk, Adam Albasani, Arthur Gonsalves, Johan Zablinski and Benjamin Baker. The rest of the field led by number 214, Thomas Ellie. They are virtually out of contention, although like Uros Bogdanic proved, a top 5 could get them into the main event. Heli, Natinho, Saye, Hapio, Soltis, Rojon, Konopka, Shingov, Kruit and Pereira round out the field. 14 more laps, Eric Sellis.
Allez, le départ qui va être invalidé. On va refaire un tour avec un écart trop important entre la première et la deuxième ligne. C'était prévisible, on l'avait vu, l'accélération qui a été un petit peu trop importante du côté de la colonne intérieure. Et Matteo Dauvergne, donc, qui était un petit peu trop en avance par rapport à l'ensemble du plateau. On va donc repartir pour ce tour de formation, tour de chauffe, et on va reprendre ses positions initiales en rappelant donc que cette première ligne tricolore voit à côte Matteo Dauvergne le 276 et Lucas Seles le 255. Du côté des autres pilotes tricolores, on a Pablo Esteves le 237, Mathis Aumètre le 293, Lilian Soares le 225, Maxime Prudent le 205, Lenny Robillo-Lagache le 204. Et ensuite, on va un petit peu plus loin dans la grille avec Arthur Goncalves le 207, Johan Joblinski le numéro 202, Thomas Hélier le 214, Romain Seyès le 203, Tilian Apio le 285 et Hugo Rojon le 218. Voilà pour cette grille de départ avec nos pilotes tricolores impliqués dans cette deuxième manche junior. Et cette fois, la grille est reconstituée. Les colonnes sont parfaitement en place. On va donc essayer de négocier ce dernier virage du paddock dans les bonnes conditions pour que la grille entame cette ligne droite de départ parfaitement constitué, ça devrait être bon cette fois. Oui, c'est validé par la direction de course avec un très bon départ pour Matteo d'Auvergne et Lucas Seles qui est en deuxième position. Oh là, ça part au large là du côté de la première ligne et du coup on s'est engouffré derrière et c'est le 221 me semble-t-il qui a pris les commandes de la course. Le 221, c'est Jérémy Rover.
I say Matthew Dauvergne, the entire inside couple of rows, the first couple of rows ran very, very wide, coming through Restaurant Curve, and that opened the door like the parting of the Red Seas for the red and black machine of Spain's Jeremy Roivers, who has the lead. Matisse Omaitre up into second. Now I could almost see a Senegalese flag waving in the grandstand, and down towards the Virage de Techno Park at the end of lap number 1. We look back to see Dauvergne down in the middle of the field. It is Roivers, Ometri, Maximov third, Dauvergne down to fourth. Now at the start of this race, Eva Morris, Yvonne Simeonova, Vlad Tomenchuk, Adam Albasani and Arthur Gonsalves were all within 10 points of the cutoff, and we've got a new leader, however. That is Matisse Omaitre, as we look to see who are, as Eric, you call the race, I'll try and do some maths.
Voilà, Matisse Omaitre qui est passé sur Jérémy Rovers. L'Espagnol avait repris les commandes dans la ligne droite et Matisse est rentré à la corde dans le virage des deux arbres et il a pris les commandes. Mais attention, dans la ligne droite, Matisse Omaitre qui va se faire peut-être déborder par l'Espagnol. Non, il maîtrise route. Attention, ça part au large et l'Espagnol qui a commis une erreur et qui permet derrière certainement à Maximov et à Dauvergne de reprendre des positions plus en rapport avec la place qu'ils occupaient sur la grille de départ. Voilà, Maximov est deuxième, Dauvergne troisième, Lévard est quatrième. Mais par contre, le grand perdant pour l'instant en ce début de course, c'est Lucas Seles qui s'est lancé de la première ligne et qui n'est qu'en 8e position et attaque Matisse Auvergne qui s'est fait déborder là par 5 concurrents d'un coup. Il est désormais en 7e position. Ouais, Matisse Omaitre 7e.
Omaitre getting hung out to dry like the washing there, coming through the Curve de Duchamp, and Boaz Maximov and Matthew Devonnier back to first and second, side by side for third. That was between Yuri Levar, Marshall running. I think I see a piece of bodywork at the side of the circuit. Let's see who it is. Is that it's a side pod. We'll soon find out who it belongs to, because it's the 284 kart of Matteo Natino. So he was not really in contention to make the main event, and the MKC Motorsport driver is out. Now, in terms of trying to make the main race, great start for Eva Morris. She's up into P9. That would put her in the main event, possibly at the expense of Lenny Robilo Lagash, who's down in 16th position, or Laura Bubanova. Bubanova has dropped to 20th. That is not good news. Yvonne Simeonova and Adam Albasani, they're going in the wrong direction as well. So it could be, as we look at, there's a side-by-side going into Virage Techno Park. Morris trying to fight her way in, and Robbie Lolagash scrambling for his life as well.
Allez, c'est de nouveau un passage en tête pour Maximov, mais on voit bien que Matteo d'Auvergne se fait de plus en plus pressant. Derrière, Lucas Seles, lui aussi, a repris un petit peu du poil de la bête. Il est repassé sur la ligne de chronométrage en 6e position, mais il a de nouveau attaqué un petit peu plus loin. Le numéro 255 qui est en 5e position désormais, me semble-t-il. Lucas Seles qui est en train d'effectuer une belle remontée après ce départ totalement raté des deux pilotes français depuis la première ligne qui sont partis au large dans le premier virage. Ça a été une phase de course incroyable. Allez, ça dépasse et il y a des contacts là du côté du freinage du Technopark. Lucas Seles, me semble-t-il, est encore bien placé et devant c'est toujours Maximov qui mène et qui résiste face à d'Auvergne, mais pour combien de temps encore?
There were yellow flags waving a lap ago. Sadly, it was for Yvonne Simeonova, the young lady for the SLR racing team out of Austria. She has qualified for the last 2 grand finals. She will not get her ticket this year from this event. She will have to look at maybe the Austrian Championship to potentially get her ticket. She is out of the race. Vlad Tomenchuk, the British driver whose family have just taken over the running of the Dunkerswell kart circuit. Vlad's bid to become a first-time grand final qualifier for this weekend at least is also over because he has retired. Rogion, Zoblinski, Baker, Pereira, Eli, Shingov, Kreut, all down at the back of the field. Arthur Gonsalves, who was 46th in points, he is down in 24th place, so that is probably game over for him as well. The main battle is going to be between Bubinova in 20th, Prudent in 19th, Clark in 18th, Robbie Lolagash 17th, and there's Roivers, carts of the grass, Roivers spinning in the middle of the pack, coming through the virage de Maison Blanche, and is that going to be damage for the Spaniards? We'll have to see. And Michael Soltis, Michael Soltis was also involved. Soltis had already gained 19 places. His chances have just gone up in a cloud of French dust.
Allez, on a vu pendant ce temps-là du changement en tête de la course avec Matteo d'Auvergne qui a repris les commandes face à Boaz Maximoff. Derrière en 3e position, Cameron Nelson reste à distance et encore dans le groupe de poursuivants, les 2 Français qui sont revenus aux avant-postes, à savoir Mathis Aumêtre et Lucas Céleste. Lucas Céleste 4e, Mathis Aumêtre en 5e position, au prix d'une superbe attaque au freinage du virage du Technopark. Ça a été vraiment maîtrisé parfaitement par Mathis Aumêtre, et maintenant on retrouve les 2 Français et Mathis Aumêtre qui attaque au freinage de la ligne droite du chemin au bœuf et qui oblige Céleste à écarter, et ce qui permet, me semble-t-il, à Lévard de pouvoir s'intercaler entre les 2 Français. La confirmation sur la ligne de chronométrage, voilà, c'est ça, Aumêtre, Lévard, Céleste. On est parti pour s'expliquer jusqu'au bout dans ce groupe de furieux. En tête de la course, Matteo d'Auvergne contient pour l'instant Maximoff. Cameron Nelson 3e reste à distance et observe tout ça, ça pourrait bien lui profiter.
Well, you're watching a fantastic 5-kart scrap for what is 4th position. Up at the front, Dauvergne, Maximov and Nelson are 5 seconds clear of this quintet of drivers. Almetre, Levar, Skeles, Archer and Suarez. Behind Lilian Suarez, Eva Morris continues to run in 9th place. That would be enough for the young lady from England. The leaders crossed that finish line. Up over the curb goes Lucas Skeles in that bright blue and orange liveried machine, the 255 kart, run by RM Concept. Skeles is still in with a shout. Roivers, even though Roivers is down to 30th, that should give him enough points to scrape into the final. 88 points will do it, but it's not going to be a good starting position for Jeremy Roivers. Maxim Kerwain still runs in 10th. Eva Morris drops to 11th. Now Eva doesn't want to lose too many more positions because her place in the final is not guaranteed by any stretch of the imagination, but at the moment she is doing just enough. As the leaders come into Virage du Technopark on lap number 10, it's Dauvergne from Maximov, then a gap back to Nelson, then a big aching gap back to Omatre, Levar, Skeles, Suarez and Will Archer.
Allez, nouveau passage sur la ligne de chronométrage. Les 3 hommes de tête qui restent sur leur position, mais on surveille surtout la course derrière eux sur ce groupe de chasse qui est en train de s'expliquer pour la 4e position avec Mathis au maître qui résiste toujours à la pression de Levar. Et derrière, eh bien, Lucas Céleste, lui, doit revenir sur le devant de ce groupe pour essayer eh bien, d'améliorer sa position de départ sur la grille de la finale. Pour l'instant, il est 8e. Il faut qu'il reprenne des points. Lucas Céleste, après cette mise en route totalement ratée, dirons-nous. Et là, pour le Français, il a tenté de résister tout à l'heure. Ça a failli partir à l'accrochage. Heureusement, les choses sont restées en l'état. Mais pour Lucas Céleste, il faut maintenant essayer de reprendre et le VAR et au maître pour gagner des positions sur la grille de départ. Pendant ce temps-là, Mathéo d'Auvergne a signé un nouveau tour en tête avec en prime le record du tour, 54-346, qui a été à l'instant effacé par Kirwan.
There's the move for the race lead. Maximov passes Dauvergne. Nelson for the Dan Holland Racing team sits, watches and waits. So we have France, the Netherlands and Wales up at the front of this one. The 276 kart of PB kart entered the Dauvergne. Then the Bouvin power of Maximov. And here's the Dan Holland kart of Nelson. Maximov defending off Dauvergne, has to defend. Watch for Cameron Nelson to try the switchback coming through Paddock Bend.
C'est très très chaud maintenant en tête de la course avec eh bien Maximov maintenant qui mène devant d'Auvergne et Nelson, mais on l'a vu, les positions peuvent changer à tout moment. Nelson qui a failli profiter d'une passe d'armes entre d'Auvergne et Maximov pour s'installer aux commandes. Ce n'est pas encore le cas. D'Auvergne va évidemment tenter de reprendre le leadership à Maximov, mais attention encore une fois de ne pas commettre l'irréparable, parce que derrière Nelson pourrait bien évidemment en profiter un petit peu plus loin derrière. On retrouve Mathis au maître avec Lucas Céleste maintenant qui est passé en 5e position. Les deux Français qui sont au coude à coude. Lucas Céleste qui va peut-être pointer à l'intérieur du banking. Oui, c'est fait sur Mathis au maître. Céleste est désormais 4e place pour eh bien Lucas Céleste, alors que devant on est toujours en train de s'expliquer et d'Auvergne maintenant ferme la marche de ce trio de tête.
There has been a problem for Eva Morris. She has fallen back to 19th place, and I don't think that's going to be enough. She has got to pick up a few more spots. That could be great news for Lenny Robilo Lagache. Arthur Gonsalves has suddenly moved into position to potentially qualify. Here is Cameron Nelson now battling for 2nd position. Maximov has the race lead. Nelson and Dauvergne with half a lap to go battling over 2nd. Nelson defends into the banking. Dauvergne tries the crossover move. Nelson shows him the outside line coming through turns 9 and 10 down the Cheminot Bouffe straight. And it's going to be Dauvergne around the outside. He'll try the undercut. It won't work. The checkered flag is waiting. And the Netherlands, Boaz Maximov takes the checkered flag. Nelson 2nd. Dauvergne 3rd. And Dauvergne will start the final from 2nd position. It's going to be Jacob Ashcroft going from pole. And as we look back to the remaining figures, Matisse Omaitre, he dropped to 10th position. I am going to look at some of the drivers that will be biting their fingernails for sure. Starting with Lenny Robilo Lagache, 16th position. That would be 24 points for Robilo Lagache. That would move him on to 77 points. And looking back for the Arthur Gonsalves in kart 207, finishing in P17. Let's have a look. That would be 22 points for Gonsalves. That would put him on 65. So that I don't think is going to be enough. Eva Morris, 19th place. That gives Eva, as things stand, another 18 points. That gives her 69 points, and I'm not sure that's going to be enough either. Here we go. Now, great start for Jeremy Roivers. As we look at the replay of this one, the back of the field, that was the start. That's where Matteo Natino's MKC Motorsport kart lost it. Well, it began to lose its side pod. Maximov and Tavernier, once they got past Almeida, Almeida and Roivers running 1-2. These three drivers would eventually pass the two leaders on your screens to take over battle. This is where Almeida got hung out to dry, and Roivers in fourth place now, and you can just see momentum. Almeida on the outside curb, he loses 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 places, and then there was a little bit of door handling between them as they came through the paddock chicane. Maximov tried to pull away. At this point, it was the number 272 kart up into third position. That was Yuri Levar. Yuri Levar eventually faced the sixth. Cameron Nelson, rear wheel in the air, 3 wheels on his wagon almost, as he stands on the anchors to make the pass there on Yuri Levar. But further back, it was kicking off between the likes of Roivers and Almeida. Who else went wide? Michael Soltis had a great start, but he was then involved in an incident. Trying to see, is this going to be the incident in question? It looks like it. There goes Soltis, and up over Soltis goes Roivers. At the background there, the 277 kart, Casper Nissen had to take to the grass. He recovered to finish 9th, but then the battle was joined at the front between Tavernier and between Maximov. Maximov grabs the lead at the turn of a 3. Nelson, third at the moment. He would eventually come past and take second place from Tavernier, who lost the lead to Maximov there. Nelson doesn't make the move stick at this occasion. This, I think, is where Nelson starts the crossover with Tavernier defending. As we look, the top 3 have the race themselves. Good move there from Cameron Nelson to go around the outside of Tavernier. That was the final. Well, Tavernier did come back, but Nelson tries the crossover move, and their battling allowed Maximov to take the win.
Et d'Auvergne, en terminant troisième, eh bien, perd certainement la pole position de cette finale.
Well, we will now take a quick commercial break before the Senior Rotax Superheats.
Why do you come here? Is this your career?
Or is it all about fun? A chance to get away and leave it all behind?
Or do you chase your personal best? Challenging yourself over and over again? Why do you come here?
Maybe you're here to collect moments. Good ones. And not so good ones.
Or you can't afford mistakes because you want that victory. It's all about this one moment when the hard work finally pays off.
This is the place that brings us closer to the people who share our story. Whoever we are,
Whatever we're here for, Racing is who we are.
Envie de capturer cette sensation? Rien de plus simple avec la caméra casque Cambox. Design ultra discret, adapté à tous les casques. Avec sa vue immersive unique au monde, captez vos émotions de course en toute sécurité. Caméra casque Cambox, the safest immersive memories.
Welcome back to Le Mans, ladies and gentlemen. Superheat A in Senior Rotax is on its rolling lap. Ethan Jeff Hall, Matthew Higgins on row 1, Simon Perigny and Sver Uben on row 2, Mateo Radenkovic and Jan Pinto, row 3, Antoine Mahler and Hugo Martinello, row 4, Paul Grisel, Jort van Wijk on row 5, row 6 is Julian Kovacevic and Tino Sidler. Sidler, the last driver currently in the top 36 in points in this race. There are two drivers in this race who got a realistic chance of breaking into the top 36. Hannes Uberfeld and Patrick Donitsa are on row number 7. So 3 superheats. Haven't got time to go through the entire grid, but there are 6 drivers in total within 10 markers of the cutoff point. Uberfeld, Nicky Gauci, Mario Sidler, Donitsa, Tommy van der Struijs and Armand Hamilton. So they're realistically the only 6 drivers that have got a chance to break into the final who are currently outside, and we're going to see 2 of them in each race. But Ethan Jeff Hall and Matthew Higgins will lead them to the line. The 14 laps of very hectic action at the moment. Ethan Jeff Hall leading the point standings, and he would start his title defence with a pole position in the final, and we are off and racing with Ethan Jeff Hall and the driver with the identical crash helmet design, Simon Perigny, following him through turn number 1.
Voilà, Ethan Jeff Hall qui est parti en tête, et derrière c'est Simon Perigny qui a pris la deuxième position, qui était dans le sillage du poleman et qui a réussi à déborder Matthew Higgins en troisième position. Très belle entame de course pour le Français.
Yes, and in the back of the field there, somebody going onto the grass, 2 wheels in the air. That is the number 441 kart of, it's a Dan Holland racing kart. That's Greece's Emmanuel Leodakis, who was starting. Where did Leodakis begin? It was, he was outside the top 12. He was in about 15th position, so his chances of making the final have just decreased even further. But apart from that, the remarkably clean opening lap as Jeff Hall, Higgins and Perigny tried to break away. And there's Sver Uben getting it wrong going into the restaurant curve, and the GKS by Lemons Power kart loses a couple of positions, and that was almost a bit complicated there between Martinello and Jan Pinto as well.
Alors on a vu Sver Huben, le pilote belge qui au freinage du premier virage a quelque peu été aidé à partir à l'extérieur. Il a donc ouvert la porte, le pilote belge, et il a perdu quelques positions. Pendant ce temps-là, en tête de la course, c'est toujours Ethan Jeffall qui est aux commandes avec Matthew Higgins dans son sillage. Simon Perini est en 3e position devant Radenkovic, et donc Huben qui a perdu 2 positions par rapport au passage au tour précédent sur la ligne de chronométrage. Les leaders qui sont de retour, toujours avec Jeff Hall devant Higgins et Radenkovic qui a pris le meilleur finalement sur Perini. Perini 4e, mais pour l'instant nous sommes en début de course, rien n'est perdu pour le français, pour l'instant en 3e position si les choses en restaient là concernant le départ de la finale. Alors il faut qu'il réagisse, le français, et pourquoi pas revenir sur une position plus ambitieuse et pourquoi pas aller chercher le leader.
Well, Jan Pinto losing a position there on your screen. He drops back behind Hugo Martinello for a second time. Meanwhile, Higgins has the race lead. Treveglois is Matt Higgins. We've just seen a Welshman finish second in his junior superheat. Now the Welsh once again to the fore in the first of the senior heats. Hisham heads. Ethan Jeff Hall in second position. Radenkovic is third. Martinello up into 4th place. Then it is Perigny, Pinto, Uben, Kovacevic, Mailer, Van Wyk, Tino Sidler doing what he needs to do. He's picked up a couple of places, running 11th now. Paul Grisel going the other way. Grisel, I'm having a look to see how many points Grisel had. And it was 132 points for Grisel. Think he's safe. Realistically, it's Tino Sidler, Mehdi Lasue and Lukas Schlegel, who we'll see in the next 2 races. They're the ones that are being the most nervous. Kovacevic also needs sort of a good finish here, but Patrick Donica moving up as well at the 15th position, but it's Higgins, Jeff Hall and Radenkovic through virage to Technopark.
Allez, nouveau passage des leaders avec Higgins devant Jeff Hall, Radenkovic, Martinello, Perini et Pinto. Martinello qui a fait une attaque agressive au tour précédent sur le français. Attention de ne pas s'énerver pour Perini là qui a encore reperdu une position. Il est désormais 6e. Il a tenté une attaque sur Martinello qui a été infructueuse et du coup c'est Pinto qui en a profité pour s'intercaler entre les 2 cartes.
Paul Grisel sets the fastest lap of the race, obviously feels the sense of urgency, and a 54.025 second lap as we watch the top 3 negotiate turns 9 and 10. They are starting to break away from Martinello, Perigny, Pinto, Uben, Mahler and Kovacevic, with Jort van Beek rounding out the top 10. What will Ethan Jeff Hall? Will he sit behind the Dan Holland Racing cart of Matthew Higgins, or will the Sam Pollitt Racing driver try to make a move? At the moment, Higgins is being a little bit defensive, not quite as aggressively defensive as we saw Lewis Goff in one of the earlier junior races. And as Ethan Jeff Hall makes the move going into turn number 3, Matthew Higgins chooses not to defend. Radenkovic has a little peek up the inside of Higgins going through Curve de Duchamp, but he thinks better of it. Now out of the Maison Blanche S's, out towards the banking. The top 3 are now being closed in on by Martinello, Pinto, Uben, Perigny, Mailer, Van Beek and Kovacevic, with Tino Sidler not far out of this one either in 11th. We have got 2.9 seconds covering the top 13.
Allez, nouveau passage des leaders avec Higgins qui a laissé les commandes à Ethan Jeff Hall. Radenkovic est toujours en 3e position. Et attention derrière parce que Hugo Martinello sonne la charge pour aller au contact et revenir sur le groupe de tête. Martinello, c'est le kart numéro 400. Il emmène dans son sillage Pinto, le 483, Huben, le pilote belge. Et ensuite, on retrouve Simon Périni. Simon Périni qui est pour l'instant toujours installé sur la deuxième ligne de départ de la grande finale qui aura lieu évidemment cet après-midi. Mais pour l'heure, c'est très 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 serré. On pensait que les trois hommes de tête allaient pouvoir se détacher, mais sous l'impulsion de Martinello, le groupe de chasse est revenu. Que vont nous réserver plus exactement les 7 prochains tours, puisque nous sommes à mi-course. Attention à Martinello qui a été, me semble-t-il, pris en grippe et en chasse par Huben. C'est Huben qui a pris le meilleur sur Périni, et Mahler est désormais 7ème, Van Wyck est 8ème, Kovacevic 9ème et Pinto finalement 10ème. Vous voyez comme quoi les choses vont très très vite dans ce groupe de chasse. Pinto qui était aux avant-postes et qui maintenant ferme la marche.
We watch the lead group, which is now, I would say, let's have a look, 4 carts briefly breaking away from Uben in 5th and Perigny in 6th. Further down the order, it does look like we are going to see the last race of this year's international trophy for the notorious BIGI, Alessandro Biggie. Also, Kuwait's Jabba Al-Sabah is down in 20th. He's gained 6 places. He won't make the final, neither with Romania's sole representative this year, Alexandru Volta. Further down the order, Alessandro Padina Amati, the San Marino-based driver, he is down in 28th place. Make that 29th because Oscar Lambert has just moved past him. Oscar Lambert, to be fair to Oscar, he's driven quite well since that massive accident took him out of the first race and required a brand new frame. Laith Mumina as well from Saudi Arabia, also probably not going to go through. Neither will the all-female crew, Sina Pais Orenbol and her mechanic Julia Leopold. The Danish driver is down in 32nd position. I've got to say, however, a good drive from India's Adish Mehta up into P30 in what has been a very steep learning curve as we see Higgins move into the race lead. Mehta will not make the final, but he can go back to his Middle Eastern base in Dubai. The Indian driver now based in the United Arab Emirates with his head held high as Radenkovic moves into P2 and suddenly Ethan Jeff Hall starts slipping back.
Ouais, Ethan Jeff Hall qui est maintenant en 5e position. Il s'est fait attaquer d'abord par Higgins et ensuite Radenkovic a essayé lui aussi d'attaquer et le Britannique a été obligé d'écarter et d'ouvrir la porte et dans laquelle se sont engouffrés plusieurs pilotes. Attention, ça rebondit du côté du virage du Technopark. On va avoir un leadership totalement modifié avec Higgins devant Martinello, Radenkovic, Huben, Jeff Hall et donc 5e, Perigny et 6e. Vous voyez en un tour comment tout peut changer, tout peut évoluer et Higgins qui grâce à cette manœuvre de dépassement qui a pris les commandes de la course passe aux commandes. Accrochage entre Huben et
Is that
Jeff Hall?
457 cart. It's the 457 cart of Antoine Mahler, the RM Concepts driver and the GKS Lemons driver, Sver Uben, out of the race. Sver Uben giving Mahler a piece of his mind. Luckily, that's all he's given him as he lets Mahler drive off, and Sver Uben stumps away to the waiting marshal's post. Probably speak to one of the observers and say in his best Belgian accent, did you see what happened there?
Et Huben qui était sur la 4e position de la grille de départ, il va perdre énormément de place sur la grille de départ de la finale. Pendant ce temps-là, Higgins lui est toujours aux commandes avec un groupe de furieux lancé à sa poursuite et emmené par Hugo Martinello, Radenkovic, Jeff Hall, Perigny. Voilà pour les 4 hommes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 karts voilà, qui sont aux avant-postes de cette Super Hit A dans la catégorie senior. On vous avait promis du spectacle et de l'intensité, et bien là on est exactement dans le cadre du sujet avec cette première Super Hit senior qui vaut vraiment l'attention. Allez, nouveau passage, nous sommes à 2 tours maintenant de l'arrivée avec Higgins devant Martinello, Radenkovic, Jeff Hall et Perini.
Yes, Matthew Higgins would currently be on pole position for the final. Now we're looking down there, so this is potentially bad news for some drivers in Superheats B and C, because the likes of Kovacevic, Sidler, Grisel, Donitsa and Uberfeld are all going very well. They're all inside the top 11, which puts even more pressure on those drivers sort of teetering on the brink of qualification or not for the final, who go in the next 2 heat races, or the next 2 super heats. It puts a bit of added pressure on them. Matthew Higgins, no pressure on his shoulders. The son of British rally legend David Higgins checks over his shoulder to see that Ethan Jeff Hall is some way behind. Radenkovic and Perigny are next. Hugo Martinello was running in second. He has been summarily dispatched, shall we say, back to 5th, where he is now holding off Strawberry Racing's Tino Sidler and the number 461 kart of Julian Kovacevic.
Et on l'a vu, hein, c'est chaud l'explication. Je vous le disais qu'il y avait du rebondissement et du spectacle à chaque tour. Et bien on l'a vu au tour précédent avec Martinello qui avait commencé ce tour en 2e position et qui l'a achevé à la 5e. Il s'est fait déborder coup sur coup dans le virage des 2 chaînes par à la fois Radenkovic, Perigny. Et du coup on se retrouve avec Higgins, solitaire leader, qui devrait aller chercher la victoire sans aucun problème, avec Ethan Jeff Hall en 2e position, Radenkovic 3e, Perigny 4e et Martinello 5e. Sidler termine en 6e position devant Pinto, Kovacevic, Grisel et Donica complète le top 10.
Outside the top 10, Hannes Uberfeld, Sasha Aim, Robbie Stoddard, Jort van Wyk, Tino Potier, Benjamin Vassou, the notorious B.I.G., Alessandro Biggie, then Tilian Fernandez, Felipe Falk, Emmanuel Leodakis and Jabba Al-Saba. Sadly, it looks like we're going to be saying goodbye to Vuo, Volta, Lambert, Morin, Meta, Patin Amati, Bongi, Peish Orenball, and also Laith Mumina, Jack Maidment. Antoine Marler will finish 32nd. And where is Antoine Marler? Okay, 32nd is 5 points. That puts Marler on to 155. Uben retired, but he will be okay. Sver Uben, yep, he's going to be just fine, but he is not going to have a good starting position. As you look at the results, I will try and bring you up to date with who sits where. Right then, we'll start off. Get your counters out, ladies and gentlemen. Tino Sidler finishes 6th. That's 48 points for Sidler. He started, you watch the replay, and I will do some maths. That puts Sidler on to 169 markers. So he is ahead of Antoine Marler. My phone is going off in the commentary box, and I will speak to Mohammed Vali's father later on. 1 minute of highlights to go. Let's have a little look. The next one would be Julian Kovacevic in kart number 461. Kovacevic finishing in 8th position. That is 42 points, and that would put Kovacevic on 166. Paul Grisel, 9th in this race. That gives him an extra 39 points, and that would put Grisel on to 171. So he is safe. Patrick Donitsa, he's the first driver that wasn't in the race at the final at the start of this one. A top 10 finish for Patrick as things stand. That's 36 points. That puts Patrick onto 150. Ooh, that's tight. There's the crash between Marla and Uben. And then you have Hannes Uberfeld. Hannes Uberfeld in 11th. That is 34 points. That is 151. So I don't think that's enough for Uberfeld, but we'll look ahead to the next race, which is Super Heat B. And I gotta say, I think that Antoine Marla will be breathing a big sigh of relief. But down, Jen Wade is waiting down in the pits. There you go, Jen. Looks like you got Macaulay Bishop loitering with intent for you.
Here you are. Just squeeze my way in. Sorry, Ray. Unless you guys are talking like strategy.
No.
You look pretty calm.
Yeah, just relax and see what we can do today. I mean, we had a good haul of points in the heats, starting P2 for the Super Heat. So everything is possible.
Been a good year, Jaden, hasn't it? Started off with the Winter Cup there in Spain, and I mean, you've been at the front. It hasn't been easy, but you're a rookie.
It's a hard season, of course, because the level is quite high in Europe. But I mean, we are halfway this season now, and it's going very well. So I just need to finish it really, and
You do need to finish it. We're going to let you finish it. I know probably your mum's watching at home there.
Yeah, she is.
Should we say hi?
Hello.
We know she's watching. But it's been great season. I mean, it's been impressive. You're here with so many superstars in our world of Senior Max. So all the best. Finish it, remember? Just finish it.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Alrighty. So there's Jaden. We will go off the grid shortly. Here's Lewis. He's getting ready. Hi, Lewis. I'm not going to stop you getting ready, but have you stopped growing?
I believe so. If not, then it's maybe time to stop soon.
I hope so. Otherwise, I'm going to have to get a longer arm. Okay, Lewis Gilbert starting from pole position, and here we go. It's going to be great. Okay, I'm going to go back now to Eric and Henry in the commentary.
Allez, on retrouve les pilotes sur la pré-grille qui sont en train de s'équiper, qui vont pas tarder à rentrer, à s'installer à bord de leur carte. On suit ici Lewis Gilbert de dos qui va dans quelques instants s'élancer depuis la pole position de la grille de départ à bord de son kart numéro 495. Il aura à ses côtés Jaden Tien, le 493. Et Lewis Gilbert qui, de son côté, a gagné 2 manches de qualification durant le programme des jours précédents. Celle du groupe opposant les groupes B et C et celle opposant le groupe C au groupe F. Voilà donc les pilotes qui sont sous les ordres de la direction de course. Départ et lancement de ce tour de formation dans moins d'1 minute. Sur la deuxième grille, on retrouve Knud Nielsen, le 502, avec Macaulay Bishop à ses côtés. Elia Papachena sera avec Hamza Alfayez sur la troisième ligne. Quatrième ligne pour Caden McQueen et George Nassar. Mitch Hunter et Alberto Fracassi seront sur la cinquième ligne. Sixième ligne pour Joshua Turnbull et Mehdi Laswed, 12e chrono. Niki Gocci et Tommy van der Struis seront sur la 7e ligne de départ. 8e ligne pour Giorgio Scafantaris et Daniel Oswirts. Ethan Thorne et Martin Gessens seront sur la 9e ligne. Thomas Ibsen et Antoine Taron partiront eux de la 10e ligne. 11e ligne pour Kering Suliak et Thomas Palette. Ilian Yankov et Arna Levar s'élanceront depuis la 12e ligne. Romain Bonneto et Alexis Torkson seront sur la 13e ligne. Manolo Sandin et Aiz Sebi s'élanceront de la 14e ligne. Raphaël Benatouille et Diego Trigagnese s'élanceront de la 15e ligne. Fotin Detodorou et Patrick Libovsik seront sur la 16e. Avant-dernière ligne pour Jan Schmidt et Adriano Vera. Et enfin, dernière ligne pour Yagiz Topal Ismail et Ruben Morel. Voilà donc pour cette deuxième super hit de la catégorie junior. Et dans quelques instants, eh bien, on va retrouver tout ce beau monde au départ.
The drivers looking nervously at this race. You've got Nicky Gauchi on 117 points. You've got Mehdi Lassoue on 119. Josh Turnbull on 123. Then Tommy van der Stroys on 114. If Mehdi Lassoue makes the final, it will be a monstrous result for the driver of kart 458, who was excluded in qualifying, qualified 108th and last, and he comes into this race sitting 35th in points. That would be one heck of an achievement. But it's Gilbert and Tien coming to the line. Lights are out. We are off and racing. It's an excellent start. Bishop in fourth. Tries to help his Dan Holland teammate Jaden T, and they run a little bit wide. Everybody through turn one cleanly. Lewis Gilbert hanging on to the lead with Tien and Bishop. Nielsen being forced to the outside. He's down to fifth and up into P4. It looks like it is Elia Papachena, possibly even a very fast start in Caden McQueen. They're all safely through the Maison Blanc Esches out towards the banking.
Allez, superbe départ avec un peloton emmené par Lewis Gilbert qui est allé un petit peu au large à la sortie du premier virage pour conserver sa position, et derrière ça bouge, ça attaque au bout de la ligne droite du chemin au bœuf dans le virage du Technopark. Pour l'instant, Gilbert a pris une petite avance qui lui permet de boucler ce premier tour en tête de façon assez confortable. On va surveiller derrière. Bishop est 3e, Nielsen 4e, McQueen 5e, Papachena 6e, Nassar est 7e, Einert est 8e et Alfayez 9e. Turnbull complète le top 10 au passage sur la ligne de chronométrage.
By my very, very rudimentary calculations, we're looking at about 155 points there or thereabouts to make it in to the main event. 155 points is where Jort van Wijk and Antoine Mahler stand. Of course, that's provisional, of course. So the drivers have got a better idea of what they need to do. Those who are in trouble, Kiko Fracassi, he has dropped back to 11th. Hans Alfayez to 9th. Turnbull is up into 10th. He's doing what he needs to do. Nicky Gauchi up into 12th. He is doing everything he can. The Maltese Falcon looking to spread his wings one more time and make it into the final. But Lewis Gilbert, the Craft Motorsport team, are pulling away at the front. Now it's Tien and Bishop, second and third, followed by Nielsen in fourth, McQueen, Papachena, and George Nassar. That's your top seven. Then a gap back to Mitch Haynett, followed by Hamza Alfayez, Turnbull, Fracassi, and the rest.
Gilbert est toujours en tête et il prend de l'avance même sur Tien et Bishop, parce que Tien et Bishop se sont un petit peu expliqués au tour précédent. Bishop avait pris l'avantage, mais Tien a répliqué dans le virage du Technopark pour reprendre sa deuxième position. Et de fait, eh bien, avec ce petit échange de politesse, si vous me permettez l'expression, eh bien, ils ont perdu un petit peu de terrain sur Gilbert qui va boucler un nouveau tour en tête. Le voici Gilbert, le 495 qui s'impose devant Tien. Bishop, McQueen derrière a gagné une position aux dépens de Nielsen. Papachena reste 6e, Nassar 7e, Engineer 8e et Alfayez 9e. Turnbull est toujours 10e et 11e position. Mehdi Laswed a gagné une place.
Well, Ethan Jeff Hall, his result from Superheat A has given him 308 points. The maximum that Lewis Gilbert can get is 299. I can't see Nolan Lamore getting more than that. Nolan Lamore, 75 points for a win. No, Ethan Jeff Hall, by my calculations, has already done enough to secure pole position for the final. However, outside of the front row, and the second row is up for grabs. And there's Macaulay Bishop making a move on his teammate Jaden Tien for second at the Virage de Paddock, and Bishop moves into P2, and that would give Bishop a third row start as things stand for the final. But Bishop, he's not going to want to finish there. He is going to want to chase down Lewis Gilbert. Tien is next, McQueen fourth, then it's Nielsen, Papachena, Mehdi Lassoue, another fastest lap for the Frenchman. He is up a position into 11th, and from 108th after qualifying, that meant he started all 5 of his heat races from stone last, and he has gained, well, incredible. I mean, we've had 10 different winners. We had how many heat races? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 15 senior Rotax heats. Every driver did 5 of them. We had 10 different winners. Jeff Hall won 3, Gilbert won 2, Nolan Lamore won 2, Higgins, Tien, both Bishop, Tom Bio, McQueen and Paul Grissel all took a win apiece, and there were 2 wins for Knud Nielsen. So 10 different winners. Nielsen sets the fastest lap of the race. A driver just the right hand side of your screen there, that's the Turkish driver Aysi Sebi, going slowly, and also in trouble the number 420 kart of Ruben Morel. That Sony kart sadly will not make the main event, but let's have a look. Gilbert led by 0.7 of a second at the start of this lap. Can Bishop close in?
Allez, nouveau passage sur la ligne de chronométrage pour Lewis Gilbert devant Bishop, Tien, McQueen, Nielsen, Nasser, Eigner, Papachena et Turnbull qui a pris le meilleur sur Mehdi Lassued, et Alfayez qui a perdu 2 positions dans ce tour, puisque Hamza Alfayez est désormais 11e. C'est Mehdi Lassued qui a également passé le pilote du kart numéro 499, Lassued, qui est aux portes du top 10 en 10e position et qui va pouvoir marquer 2 gros points intéressants pour la finale. Pendant ce temps-là, eh bien, Gilbert est toujours aux commandes et détaché, parce que derrière, entre Bishop et Tien, on ne veut pas céder, et forcément au jeu des dépassements on perd du temps.
And there is a move up at the banking. Couldn't quite see the driver, the white race suit, the red sleeves. Traditionally that's Thomas Ibsen in the Team Poland race suit. Ibsen moving past, moving up to the back of Georgios Kafantaris. Tommy van der Struijs all in that battle as well. Kafantaris up to 12th, van der Struijs down to 13th, Ibsen is 14th. The gap at the front has come down by a fraction, not by much. Gilbert still hanging on. Now the next driver to start worrying, Kiko Fracassi. He has dropped to 15th position, and 15th place pays 26 points. That would put him on 151, right smack dab on the cut-off point, so Kiko needs to start motoring forward. It's all gone wrong for Nicky Gauci. The Maltese Falcon drops to 18th. That will not be good enough for Gauci. Going the other way, Van der Struijs and Kafantaris are all doing their best. Kafantaris needs another 5 or 6 places at least, I would say, to make his way into the main event, but he is giving it a good go.
Et ça bouge dans le groupe de chasse. Si les 4 premiers sont restés à leur position, eh bien derrière c'est Nassar qui est fait un petit peu exploser le groupe, avec désormais eh bien la 5e position à son actif pour le kart numéro 431. Nielsen a perdu une position et Papachena vient de prendre le meilleur sur Eichner pour le gain de la 7e place. Il reste 5 tours, à peu près 5 tours et demi à parcourir, et il me semble que devant, eh bien les positions commencent un petit peu à se figer, avec Gilbert toujours impressionnant aux commandes de cette super hit, avec ensuite Bishop et Tien qui essayent de s'expliquer, mais Bishop semble avoir pris un petit peu l'ascendant sur le néerlandais. Quant à McQueen, eh bien ça fait un petit moment qu'il est détaché du groupe de chasse et qu'il est solitaire 4e. Il n'arrive pas à revenir sur le trio de tête. Et pour l'heure, il est à l'abri d'un éventuel retour de ses poursuivants emmené par Georges Nasser.
Another new fastest lap for Mehdi Lassuet. 53.477 seconds, 0.2 quicker than race leader Lewis Gilbert. Lassuet up to 9th on the road, and I think that's going to be more than a 9th place. That pays 39 points in a superheat. That would give him 158 points, so that should be plenty for Lassuet. He's got to stay where he is. We're on lap number 11 out of 14. There on your screens going through, that is George Nassar in 5th, followed by Knut Nielsen 6th, Papachena 7th, Hainert in 8th, and the flying Mehdi Lassuet in 9th. Just behind them, Joshua Turnbull in 10th place in kart 456. He is just doing enough as well, keeping his head above the cutoff line, as it were. Those in trouble. Cavataris is not going to do it, sadly. Tommy van der Stroys, he needs to make a couple more places. Hamza Al-Fayez down to 13th. He's going to be okay. Kiko Fracassi is still only 15th. Nicky Gauchi still only 18th. We're watching the battle for 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th, but pretty soon we could have a battle for the race lead, because with a lap time of 53.434 seconds, here comes Macaulay Bishop.
Nouveau passage en tête pour Lewis Gilbert qui mène toujours depuis le premier tour. Mais attention, Bishop vient de signer le meilleur tour en course et on voit visuellement que les écarts se resserrent en tête de la course entre Gilbert, Bishop et Tienne. Est-ce à dire que Gilbert est en train un petit peu de gérer son capital pneumatique avant la fin de cette course? Mais en tout cas, Bishop lui est en train de revenir encore une fois, même si Gilbert a accéléré dans le premier secteur chronométré pour reprendre un peu de temps à son compatriote. Vous voyez les trois cartes qui sont quasiment au contact maintenant dans la ligne droite des stands. McQueen est toujours 4e et il se retourne parce qu'effectivement derrière lui Georges Nassar est en train de se rapprocher. Est-ce qu'il va pouvoir faire la jonction avant la fin de la course et tenter une attaque? Rien n'est moins sûr. La Suède lui est toujours dans le groupe de chasse en train de tenter de gagner des positions. Il a gagné une place. Mehdi Lassuet, il n'est plus 9e, il est 8e.
Look at Knut Nielsen, fastest in qualifying, won his opening 2 heat races, now struggling a little bit for pace as we continue, as down through the order we go. Knut Nielsen, certainly his pace has dropped off today. He is going to make the final, but he's facing a rear guard action as we begin. Lap, can't see the Avant-Dernier Tour, penultimate lap. Couldn't see the Dernier Tour board. Oh, it is the final lap. Oh, I couldn't quite see the last lap board being held out there, so my apologies. And it looks like Gilbert has done enough. But while we've been talking, it has all gone wrong for Tommy van der Stroys. Van der Stroys, one of Gilbert's Craft Motorsport teammates. He was up into 10th. Now he's dropped to 20th. That could be very significant indeed. And it could be really significant for Kiko Fracassi, who picks up 14th position. It's going to be Gilbert's win. Gilbert at the moment will move second in the point standings. Bishop not quite close enough.
Et Gilbert qui va aller donc signer cette victoire. On sentait la pression revenir, mais il a su manager comme il fallait. Il s'impose devant Bishop Tienne. McQueen est toujours 4e. Nasser va finir 5e. Nielsen 6e. Et bien du coup, la Suède, dans ce dernier tour, a regagné une position. Il revient 8e et il prend le meilleur sur Papachena. Kafantaris termine 10e. Turnbull 11e. Ipsien 12e, Auschwitz 13e, Fracassi 14e et Gauchi 15e.
Right, calculators at the ready. Josh Turnbull loses a place on the last lap, crosses the line in 11th. Unofficially that gives him 157 points. I make that in for Turnbull. Tommy van der Stroys, only 20th. That gives him another 17 points. Oh, that only puts him on 131. Not good enough. Kafataris, not good enough in 10th place. Kiko Fracassi, 14th across the line, 28 points. That gives him 152 points. 1 point more than Hannes Uberfeld. That might just be enough. Nicky Gauci recovers to 15th place. 26 points for the Maltese Falcon in that one. That moves him on to 137, 940, 143 points. Not good enough. Mehdi Lassoue, 8th as you watch the highlights. Mehdi Lassoue, 8th place, another 42 markers. That gives Mehdi 161 points. Well done, Mehdi Lassoue and that team. You are unofficially in the main event. Now, Caden McQueen, you see on your screen there, has done quite well. Here's the battle between the 4-3-1 kart of George Nassar, the Lebanese driver. He has done very well, top 5 finish. But it does mean, ladies and gentlemen, that we have just one superheat to go. One superheat to go. And it is Superheat C. And Jen Wade is down on the grid to try and find out who will be the last qualifiers for today's main event. Take it away, Jen.
Well, of course, I had to speak with Nolan, front row. We've seen you on the top step of the podium before, here in Le Mans. So tell us what's happening, how you're feeling, what's going on this weekend.
Yeah, I feel good. The weekend start pretty good. I make a pretty good hit, no risk, and now I will push for take the front row.
Mm-hmm. And I know you've got some French fans and supporters watching. So would you like to speak a little bit in French for them?
Je vais essayer de donner mon maximum pour la course et essayer de gagner la course cet après-midi.
Okay, we're going to say good luck. Behind you, I know this guy, Tom Langlois. He doesn't speak much English, but a little bit like you, Nolan, I think. Thank you so much. Good luck. Tom, a little bit of English, a little bit of French. French. But before we start in French, let's talk about what's happened this weekend so I know what you're talking about.
Oui, très bon feeling ici au Mans. Je suis content de ma performance pour l'instant et j'espère continuer sur cette lancée.
Okay, and what's the plan now? Without telling anybody. Strategy here, we need the points.
Yeah, je vais essayer de faire dans le top 3 pour avoir des points précieux pour essayer de partir le mieux possible en finale et tout donner.
Okay. And some of your rivals here are speaking to you. What are they saying in French? I'm not understanding. What did he say? We don't know.
Tom?
Yes.
I don't know.
No, he said good luck and
Yeah.
I'm going to follow you through the first corner, I think is what he said.
Yeah.
So you've got to stay down, get the points, be there at the end. You've got a guy behind you that's kind of fast.
Yeah.
He's been working his way up, Callum Bradshaw. Probably didn't qualify as well as he could have because there was always that mix-up with the qualifying where everyone wanted to slow down and follow someone.
Yeah.
Did you get caught in that? A little bit? Maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Lots of people did. But there's Callum. He's looking pretty confident. But I don't know if we're going to talk to him, maybe. We'll see what he does. Good luck, Tom. Thank you. Merci. Hi, how's your French?
Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Ça va?
Très bien.
Nah, that's all I've got. Merci. That's all I've got.
Something like, I don't know, Paris and different things. However, here we are. You've made up a few spots since we last spoke.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts here? Do you change the tyres? That's been one question. Do you stay on the same tyres or you change them for the final?
I think we only get one set, but I'll be staying how they are. Yeah, just like making my way up. It's so difficult around here, especially with the bad qualifying. To be honest, I thought it'd be a lot easier, but everyone does the same time. As soon as like lap 6 happens, it just very stagnant. But yeah, we make our way up and see what we can do in this one. Starting a bit further up, so it'll be a bit interesting, I think.
It will be interesting. We never discount you ever. So we're going to be watching you. That's number 407 for everyone at home. Good luck, Callum. Thank you. Okay, we're going to go back to the commentary because we need to move off the grid. And nice to hear from some of the guys at the front. Nolan, of course, we've seen him before on the podium here, so he's staying really calm. He's got a strategy. And Eric and Henry, back to you in the commentary.
Well, thank you very much, Jen. Good to speak to a couple of the drivers there, including Nolan Murray, Callum Bradshaw, and, Ethan Jeff Hall and Lewis Gilbert should have annexed the front row of the grid. But that driver there, the 2022 International Trophy Senior Max Champion, Nolan Lamore, the RM Concepts team have been, they've been working very, very hard. They've got some fantastic drivers in all classes. Okay, those drivers who are nervous. Christian Baumgartner on 122 points. Lukas Schlegel, 118 points. Mario Sidler, 114 points. And Armand Hamilton, 112 points. They are the drivers who are on the outside looking in. There is a look at Lamore, the number 455 car, Tom Langlois, the French drivers for the Yann Darms racing team. Across the grid there, you can see the 411 car of Tom Bio, and also in that shot, I think we saw Callum Bradshaw and Elio Gilter. The last 36 drivers set to start this final 14-lap superheat. They are composed, ready to go. And we look down. It's Lamore, Roban on the front row. Nolan Lamore and Arthur Roban on row number 1. Tom Langlois and Tom Bio on row 2. Callum Bradshaw and Elio Gilter, row 3. Titouan Lascalier and Hugo Grasto on row number 4. 7 Frenchmen and Callum Bradshaw. Callum Bradshaw's from Leicester, and King Richard went on his crusades around Europe, including France. Well, they found his body in Leicester a few years ago. And, hopefully there won't be a French Revolution at the front for Callum Bradshaw, although he has got his work cut out. Behind the top 8, Colin Ważny from Poland and another Frenchman, Hugo Brunn. Then 2 Austrians, both very nervous Austrians, Christian Baumgartner and Lukas Schlegel, because they are the last 2 drivers currently qualified for the main event. Mario Sidler, Armand Hamilton and Gustav Usakovs are next. Then Tom Cave, Titouan O'Shea, Alexander Lemari Sicre, Alexandra Aim, Alex Duncan, Lizzie May Mentia, Chem Argun, Raphael Moreau, and the rest. Looks like, sadly, Scotland's Alex Duncan is probably a little bit too far back to make the main event, as same for Lizzie May Mentier, who were both driving very well earlier on, but I think they've had some penalties that have scuppered their chances. But here we go, Eric. We're going to get, looks like everyone is pretty much ready to rock and roll.
Allez, on attend. Attention, ça s'est décalé, mais ça rentre dans l'ordre. Oui, c'est bon, c'est bien lancé pour ce départ avec Nolan Lemeret à l'intérieur en pole position, et à l'extérieur, on a Arthur Robin qui conserve cette deuxième place. Arthur Robin tout de suite dans l'échappement de Nolan Lemeret, qui eh bien s'échappent, hein, les deux pilotes français qui sont partis très très rapidement, et il me semble qu'en troisième position on retrouve Tom Biou, le numéro 411. On va vérifier ça au deuxième intermédiaire. Les pilotes qui sont en train de terminer la sortie du banking et qui dans quelques instants vont attaquer la ligne droite des Hunaudières, non, mais du chemin au bœuf, oui, et le virage du Technopark. Voilà, et c'est bien Tom Biou qui est en troisième position, et on a ces trois premiers cartes qui sont quand même largement détachés du reste du peloton, et on a Callum Bradshaw en quatrième position.
Yep, Bradshaw in fourth place, defending going into turn number one. Lamari, Roban and Bio are escaping at the front. There they are, the RM Concepts cart of Lamare. Then the 477 cart, the PKS competition entered machine of Roban, and Bio in cart 411. That is the cart management entry. Then it is a big gap back to the Strawberry Racing cart of Callum Bradshaw, who is, he is feeling the pressure from the quartet of Frenchmen sitting just off his rear bumper. Well, you know, the English give the French a bit of a slacking at Waterloo. Maybe this is their chance to get some revenge. Anyway, moving swiftly on. Lascalier in fifth, Langlois, Gilter, Grastio, and the rest. Armand Hamilton, the Hungarian driver, up into ninth place. Great start for Armand. Going the other way, Christian Baumgartner. That could be significant. It is Gilter, Hamilton, 8th and 9th, and Schlegel, Usakovs, Mario Sidler in 12th. Is the slider going to make it in? We'll have to wait and see. Brun, Aim, Vashni, and the rest. Colin Vashni, he needs to be careful. 27th in points. He's been moving forward all weekend after a terrible qualifying performance. This is not the race to start going in the other direction.
Allez, on revient sur la tête de course avec Lemeray qui va boucler un nouveau tour en tête, et attaque de Tom Biou sur Arthur Robin. Arthur Robin qui a eu la présence d'esprit de ne pas refermer la porte pour éviter l'accrochage entre les deux cartes. Bradshaw est toujours 4e, Langlois 5e, L'Escalier 6e, Grasto 7e, Hamilton 8e, Seidler 9e, Usakovs est 10e, mais où est Gilter, où est-il? Il manque, me semble-t-il, Elio Gilter qui a disparu des avant-postes.
Yeah, Elio Gilter looking to try and find out where Gilter has gone. I'm having a look down there, and he is down to 33rd. Luckily for Elio, well, is it luckily? Oh, he's 18th in points, 151. That really is about the cutoff, and 33rd place only pays 4 points. That would put him in a tie with Martin. Well, we're not going to get into maths just at this point, I don't think. But here's a good battle back in the pack. And it is, well, Bradshaw now slowly coming back at Arthur Roban, who is down to third position. We'll look, it's the second of the green and white Tony karts from Strawberry Racing that is the most important in this race at the moment, because that is Armand Hamilton in 18th position, in 8th position in kart number 479, and Hamilton, well, he's currently doing enough. There's a move. Bradshaw past Roban for third. It's Lamore leading and is stretching his advantage over Bio. Then Bradshaw, Roban, Tom Langlois in the number 455 kart has the fastest lap of the race, and he is there, the Jan Darms racing machine, just behind Roban, and just behind Langlois is Titouan Lascalier. Then a gap to Armand Hamilton, now up into 7th at the expense of Hugo Grasto.
Et les choses se compliquent pour Arthur Robin qui a perdu 2 positions. Langlois et l'Escalier qui sont passés au freinage du premier virage, alors qu'il y a eu un accrochage, semble-t-il, entre deux pilotes là à la sortie du virage du paddock. Heureusement sans conséquences pour les deux pilotes. Pendant ce temps-là, Nolan Lemeray et Tom Biou sont toujours aux avant-postes, et c'est désormais Callum Bradshaw qui mène la chasse pour tenter de revenir sur le duo tricolore tricolore. Mais derrière, vous l'avez vu, ça chauffe avec Arthur Robin qui a perdu 2 positions. Il est désormais 2, 3, 4, 5, 6e désormais, Arthur Robin.
Now the 2 drivers who have sadly... Oh, Elio Gilter has retired. And Gilter will finish 35th. 2 points for Elio Gilter. Meanwhile, the 2 other karts that have come to grief at the final corner, that is Totish Balázs and Paul Hamburg. So the Hungarian driver Balázs and Estonia's Hamburg will not make the final. They will not finish their superheat. As you continue to watch there, Gilter, 35th position, 2 points. That gives him 153 points. Just 1 more than Fracassi and 2 more than Uberfeld, and I don't know, that could just about be enough for Gilter, but it's going to be a very nervous wait indeed. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, Arthur Robin is going the wrong direction. Robin has slipped to 2, 4, 6, 7th place now as Armand Hamilton continues his march towards the final, and he's taking Mario Sidler with him. So Strawberry Racing, they've got 2 drivers scrambling, and looks like Spencer has finally unlocked the key to those Tony karts, and they are heading north.
Et Nolan Lemurray et Tom Biou toujours détachés et largement détachés maintenant, alors que nous rentrons dans la deuxième moitié de la course, avec lancés à leur poursuite Callum Bradshaw et Tom Langlois, eux aussi qui ont quelques petites longueurs d'avance sur le groupe de furieux derrière eux, avec Titouan Lescalier et Armand Hamilton. Alors, Arthur Robin qui a encore perdu une position, ça va pas forcément très très fort pour Arthur Robin là dans cette super hit. Arthur Robin pour l'instant 7ème. On va voir si dans cette deuxième partie de course il va pouvoir se reprendre et revenir aux avant-postes. Pour l'instant c'est maîtrisé parfaitement par Nolan Lemurray et Tom Biou qui font une course de concert. Pas d'attaque intempestive de la part de Tom Biou sur Nolan Lemurray. On veut creuser l'écart, on veut se mettre à l'abri d'un quelconque rebondissement de dernière minute.
Into the second half of this race, be doing a couple of quick calculations. 6th place for Hamilton and 8th place for Sidler. That would be enough for both drivers. That should do it. Of course, we don't know if they nose cone penalties or anything afterwards. 6th and 8th, if that's where they finish, that'll get them both in the main event. Long way to go, however. Here's the battle for 3rd place. Well, there's the 2 leaders. Bio on the rear bumper of Nolan Lemurray. As things stand, Lemurray would start the final from 3rd position, with Higgins 4th, TN 5th. Arthur Robin would start 6th, but he is falling further and further behind, and he could fall behind Perigny and Bishop in the list of in the grid for the final. Here's a good battle. Now Langlois leading Bradshaw, Lescalier, Hamilton, Robin, and just behind Robin is Sidler. So, can Callum Bradshaw work his way past the Dams Racing entry of Langlois? They both check over their shoulder. Titouan Lescalier in the number 439 kart now draws alongside Bradshaw. That was a mistake. Hamilton's putting himself in an awkward position. Sidler to the inside of Hamilton. They've got to be careful. If Hamilton drops back too many places, he could race his way out.
Et on l'a vu, c'est encore très très chaud dans le groupe de poursuivants qui revient petit à petit sur Langlois et Bradshaw. Et derrière on a vu Hamilton qui a été obligé de céder aux attaques. Il s'est écarté et du coup 2 pilotes en ont profité. Arthur Robin notamment qui remonte en 6ème position. Il est même désormais 6ème. Il vient de se faire prendre dans l'intérieur du banking. Arthur Robin qui a reperdu une position au profit...
That was Hamilton, I believe.
Ouais.
Hamilton, Armand Hamilton back into 6th position at the expense of Arthur Roban. Mario Sidler, you can see with the gold crash helmet on his, the predominantly gold crash helmet. He's there in 8th position. Oh, and up at the front, Tom Bio gives Nolan Lamore a little reminder that he's there as they headed through turn number 1. Bio has set a succession of fastest laps, 53.612, and what I mean, I know that when you greet each other in France, you give each other a little mwah, mwah, and that was certainly a little mwah, mwah from Bio to Lamore. Lamore might turn around and go, no.
Et Nolan Lemeur qui reste sous la pression constante de Tom Bio. Ils ont creusé l'écart, ils ont 3 secondes d'avance sur leur poursuivant direct. Enfin direct, c'est une expression, C'est Tom Langlois qui est en 3e position et il est à 3 secondes environ des 2 hommes de tête. Et derrière Langlois, c'est très très chaud entre Bradshaw et l'escalier. Hamilton garde la 6e place, Robin la 7e, Grasto la 8e, Seidler 9e et Usakovs est en 10e position. Nous sommes dans les 2 derniers tours. 2 derniers tours de cette Super Hit. C'est pour la catégorie senior.
Further down the order, just as we watch Lamore, Colin Vashni has set a new fastest lap of the race. He's 14th. So I think he has stemmed the tide. Christian Baumgartner is still down in 18th position. That does not look promising for Baumgartner. But Lamore finally, on the penultimate lap, puts a bit of breathing space between himself and Bio. Langlois is now comfortably in front of Bradshaw in 3rd place. Langlois all on his own. Bradshaw having to defend from the number 439 car, Titouan Lascalier. Hamilton still sitting in 6th and safe. Roban 7th. Grasto 8th. Sidler's dropped to 9th. That he wants to try and get past Grasto on this, the final lap. 8th was good enough. I'll check the points to see if 9th could be good enough as we watch the leaders halfway round the last lap. 39 points for 9th place. That would give him 149, 51, 52. That would put him on 153, tied with Elio Gilter.
Allez, on se dirige tout droit vers la fin de cette Super Hit avec Lemeur et Biou, toujours roue dans roue, qui vont en terminer ainsi et qui vont aller tout droit en finale. En 3e position, Tom Langlois, voilà, qui est qualifié lui aussi. Et derrière, on retrouve Bradshaw, l'escalier Hamilton et Robin qui finalement termine 7ème. Parmi le top 10, eh bien, c'est lui qui aura perdu le plus de positions. Il s'est lancé depuis la 2e place de la grille et il termine 7ème. Il a perdu 5 places. La meilleure progression dans ce top 10, eh bien, c'est celle d'Armand Hamilton qui a gagné 8 places.
Well, Hamilton finishes 6th, Roban 7th, Hugo Grasto was able to hang on in 8th place ahead of Mario Sidler. Your winner is Nolan Lamore. He will start provisionally the main event from the inside of row number 2, just behind Polson, Ethan Jeff Hall, and alongside Matthew Higgins. Lewis Gilbert will start 2nd. Tien will start 5th. Roban 6th. Perigny 7th. Bishop in 8th. Now, 9th place, 39 points for Sidler. That would be 153. Luca Schlegel, 13th position. That would give him 30 points. That puts him on 148. So that puts him behind Uberfeld, behind Sidler, behind Donitsa, and behind Hamilton. That's not good news for Luca Schlegel. And as we look at the highlights, Christian Baumgartner in 20th. 17 points for that. That will give Baumgartner 139 points. So, the 2 Austrians have been overtaken by the German. Not the first time, but I think it is Baumgartner and Schlegel who are on the outside looking in, and I think there's going to be some celebrations in the Kraft Motorsport tent for Hannes Uberfeld, but we have to wait and see. Here is a look at the replays of the last of the superheats. There is your winner, Nolan Limare from Tom Bio. And that concludes this morning's action. We will now have a break. The finals will commence at 1:55 local time. We will be back on air approximately 10 minutes before that with the walkouts and all the interviews. In the meantime, please take a few minutes to check out our advertising partners with our final commercial break of the morning. We'll be back at about 1:45 local time. Thank you for joining us.